Good evening, everyone. It's 6:06. We are going to reconvene in open session the board meeting of March 24th, 2025 for the Glendora Unified School District, and I'm happy to say there's no reportable action from closed session. So moving on to, pardon? Oh, it's 6:06. I thought I said that at the very beginning. I apologize. So we will move to 3.2, which is roll call for the evening, please.
Member Garcia?
Here.
Member Munoz?
Here.
Clerk Ham?
Present.
Vice President Lopez?
Here.
President Clifford?
Present.
Note, all are present.
Thank you very much. We will now go to item 3.4, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. Lily, would you handle that, please?
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Thank you. That moves us to item 3.5, which is an adoption of tonight's agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? We will move on to 3.6, which is Board Recognition National Merit Finalists. Superintendent DeGrazia.
Thank you, Mr. Clifford, members of the board, distinguished guests. We have 3 special presentations this evening, all from Glendora High School, our 2 national merit finalists, 5 Palomar's student athletes, the Palomar's 5 outstanding student athletes they are, and 1 state champion. Mrs. Nero.
Thank you. Our GHS leadership staff is pleased to be here this evening to honor 3 sets of truly amazing seniors. These talented and compassionate individuals are tremendous representatives of Glendora High School. Since you will be hearing my voice way too much this evening, our members of our leadership team will be presenting these individuals, starting with Mrs. Luz Lozano.
Good evening. GHS is proud to announce that Carter Prince and Dia Ramvi Shakar have both progressed from National Merit semifinalists to National Merit finalists. This honor means that they will be considered for one of the 6,870 merit scholarships totaling over $25 million in awards. Dia is busy completing her AP research project on how students romanticize education and its impact on their performance and self-confidence. Dia is hoping to shed some light on the different ways students can be approached to foster their educational success and the impact this has on a student's identity. She credits Miss Rexstad, who's here supporting, I saw her, okay, as her most inspirational teacher, stating, "She is an incredible AP language teacher who taught me a lot about literature and inspired me to get back into reading for personal enjoyment again. Additionally, she's been an incredible and an understanding mentor in my AP research class. Furthermore, she's taught me and the rest of the class a lot of important life lessons that have helped me throughout the year, and for that, I'm very thankful." Dia is in the process of finalizing her college decision, but plans to major in molecular and cell developmental biology. Next, Carter, who is spending a lot of his free time contributing to Wikipedia, especially in the area of plants, he enjoys taking that time to further his knowledge on the subject, but most importantly, to share that with others. Carter enjoys taking hikes to gain exposure in its field as well. Carter states that he has had a lot of great teachers at GHS, but Mr. Nakata is the most inspirational. He helped me build confidence in my writing and especially my speaking. Carter has been accepted to the University of Davis, where he will study plant science. Carter and Dia, can you guys please come up?
So when the
this is different. This is it.
This is the whole group. All right, just stand in the front, we'll all come together in the back so the whole board can get in.
All right, I'm gonna make you guys go back this way.
There you go. That way we all kind of squeeze in together. Perfect. Congratulations.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
And to do our next presentation is Mr. Jerry Llewellyn.
I'm honored to get to recognize Samantha Sachs, the first ever GHS state champion. Unfortunately, Sam is in traffic returning from practice where she's in the final stages of preparing for the 2025 United States Marine Corps Women's National Championships and World Team Trials. Yeah. If she wins in 2 weeks, she will be part of the world team competing in Bulgaria this summer. Yeah, outstanding. Sam, however, is a familiar face in this room. She has been here many times before, being recognized as a 4-time league champ, a 4-time CIF champ, 2-time Masters champ, 4-time state qualifier, and 3-time state placer, earning her state champion honor this year in a match that lasted only 1 minute and 4 seconds. Her undefeated senior season was one we will all remember. Sam was recently named Foothill Citrus Athletic Directors Association Female Scholar Athlete for the entire Palomares League and was also named a GHS Palomares Outstanding Senior. In and out of the classroom, Sam is kind, talented, and humble. She plans to attend Iowa next fall, the Mecca of wrestling. And we know many of us will be tuning in to follow her collegiate career. At this time, I would like to call up Mr. Rod Tilton, who will present the Palomares Outstanding Seniors.
Colton, Dylan, and Tatiana, can you come up over here? Well, kind of up, Tatiana. Every spring, GHS has the honor of selecting 5 seniors who have excelled both academically and athletically to represent Glendora High School at the Palomares League Outstanding Senior Banquet. This year, we are proud to present 5 truly exceptional seniors. Yes, there's only 3 of them here, though. First, Tatiana Espitia, who possesses a 4.18 weighted GPA, has taken 14 honors and AP courses over the last 4 years. Tatiana has 4 years as soccer player, 3 years of track and field. It would have been 4, but we don't have any scooter events. 1 in cross country and 2 years in field hockey. And one was the captain of one of our captains of our first ever flag football team this past season. She has also been on yearbook for 4 years, been the editor-in-chief for 2 of those. Tatiana plans to attend UCLA and study medicine. She has selected Miss Fallon, who's here tonight, as her most inspirational teacher, stating, "Coming to GHS as a freshman and having her as my yearbook teacher was the warmest welcome I could have ever received. Not only that, but throughout my 4 years in high school, she's been someone I can talk to about anything and always rely on for advice or assistance." Tatiana Espitia. Dylan Flores has a 3.1 weighted GPA and has been a 4-year athlete in both cross country and track. Dylan is a 2-time league champion in cross country, a 3-time league champion track and field, holds 5 school records between the 2 sports. This past season, Dylan was part of our CIF cross country championship team and also qualified for nationals. Dylan finished 2nd in the CIF Southern Section Finals and is 4th overall runner in our division CIF state meet. Next fall, we will be following Dylan's cross-country track career at Cal Baptist University. Lanza. Dylan identified Mr. Johnson as his most inspirational staff member, stating, "He always made the class fun and engaging. He took time to acknowledge my running accomplishments, which showed me he genuinely cares about his students beyond just academics. His support made me a lasting impact on me throughout my high school years. Dylan Flores. Next, right here, we have Colton Gray. He has a 4.6 weighted GPA, has taken 13 honors or AP classes. Colton's been a part of our basketball program for 4 years and earned his spot in the 1,000 point club this past season. Colton has also competed in track and field for 2 years, earning all league awards in both sports. Was named to the CIF second team, Palomar's first team, team MVP honors, and multiple basketball seasons. In the fall, Colton looks forward to attending and continuing his basketball career at Azusa Pacific University. Colton names Coach Hamlow as his most inspirational staff member because he has helped me mature as a leader, teammate, and person. He gave us life lessons as we went through the ups and downs of our basketball seasons, and that helped me understand how to deal with life struggles. Colton Gray. As you heard earlier, Samantha Sachs could not be here this evening, but Sam holds a 4.2 weighted GPA, has taken 11 honors in AP classes. Sam even competed in field hockey as well as track and field for a season. As mentioned earlier, Sam will be attending Iowa in the fall, majoring in criminal justice. Her most inspirational staff member is Miss Roland, because she is an amazing teacher and also has a good heart. She is always working to help her students succeed in the classroom and out of it. She makes the classroom fun, which helps when learning the material. The reason I chose Miss Roland as my inspirational staff member is because not only is she a great teacher, she's a great person as well. She truly wants what's best for her students. Samantha Sachs. Last but not least is Maddie Zubo. Maddie has a 4.02 weighted GPA, has taken 3 honors AP classes, is a member of our AVID program. Maddie is a 5-sport athlete this year. Yes, you heard me correctly, 5 sports in 1 year. I remember when if you got like 5 varsity letters in 4 years, you were like, you know, the greatest athlete in the school, but she's got 5 in 1 year. A member of our field hockey, soccer, track and field, traditional competition cheer, and cheer stunt programs. And that's why she's not here this evening. She is currently competing at Diamond Bar with the stunt team. Maddie can do it all, even somehow finding a way to lead our school's dog pound, cheering on our athletes. Her athletic accomplishments include team, league, and CIF honors, including numerous all-league and first-team accomplishments. Maddie is currently deciding which sport she will pursue at the next level, but she would like to eventually earn a bachelor's in political science and her EMT paramedic license. Maddie's most inspirational teacher is Mrs. Casotis, who has been the light when I'm usually a mess, never forgetting to provide kindness and support of me. And that's Maddie Zubo. Want him up there?
Grab your wares and come right up here all together.
Yeah, grab your...
Even though you're down there, you're still This is awesome. That's all right, man. I can go like this. No, you can stay right there.
No, we're gonna have to go, there you go, right there. Trying to hide. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. One more.
Thank you. Are there any more board recognitions, sir? Nope. Sorry, I had to step out for a work-related call. Okay, the next item is 3.7, which is public comment. For the board's knowledge, we have 11 cards, and by resolution, we give 20 minutes for public comment. So that means that we can either have each person have 2 minutes, or if the board wants to, we can override the 20 minutes and go for 33 minutes. So it's at the board's pleasure. I would prefer to go for 2 minutes per card, but if you want to go for the entire 3 minutes for all the cards, we can do that too. Is there any discussion on that?
I am happy to override and give the people time to speak.
Okay, we'll do that then. Is that a consensus?
I'll second.
All right, perfect. All right, any opposition to that? So we'll go, we're gonna go for 33 minutes then, and if you could hold your comments to 3 minutes, we'd really appreciate that. I will open up public comment at 6:21. The first card I have, that's the interesting part I forgot about, is Douglas Granquist.
Hello. Hello, members of the board. I am Doug Granquist, president of Glendora Teachers Association, and I come to you today representing our teachers and specifically on behalf of members at our Glendora High School. I am encouraging you to reconsider your opposition to our proposed ethnic studies curriculum presented in February and voted on last meeting. This curriculum has been expertly crafted by our teachers to meet the needs of our students and the challenges they will face in the world today. Our teachers and administrators have worked over the past 2 years to create a curriculum designed for our students and our community. We have woven it into our master schedule in a place that will be impactful for our students and economical for our district. We are nearing a state mandate for this class as a graduation requirement, and pushing it down the road will put us in legal peril. Additionally, we have the opportunity to take advantage of our pilot year during 2025's summer school and the coming 25-26 school year. This will give our expert teachers the ability to make adjustments to lessons, curriculum as we implement it fully in the 26-27 school year. Some of you have mentioned in conversations we have had and after the vote and from the dais last meeting that you have not heard as many voices in support as you have in opposition. I have experienced the opposite. I have had so many concerned teachers come speak in favor of this valuable curriculum. I would encourage you to seek out our members, our teaching staff, or talk to our students. This class, the issues it addresses, and the curriculum put forth represent the best of Glendora, and I strongly encourage you to reconsider your opposition as a board. I'm happy to talk further and will be reaching out to each of you this week. Thank you.
Thank you. My next card is Peter Diaz.
Who was it? I'm sorry.
Peter Diaz.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to address an important question that Dr. Kam posed last board meeting of whether or not the ninth graders are ready to take part of the ethics studies course. Countries like Canada, the UK, and Taiwan, which are consistently ranked amongst the best in the world for education, have long incorporated ethnic studies or similar curricula into their high school programs. These nations emphasize critical thinking, creativity, and a well-rounded understanding of history and society, including stories often left out of textbooks like the more than 10,000 Chinese immigrants who built California's transcontinental railroads, or the 115,000 Mexicans who stayed in California after the Mexican-American War, who fought for decades to retain their lands against legal discrimination and economic exploitation. These are not just historical footnotes, they're foundational for understanding our state and our nation. Here in the U.S., students of color often wait until college to learn about their own histories. This delay means they miss a crucial opportunity to see themselves reflected in the society in which they live. Ethnic studies courses provide a platform for students to explore their identities, celebrate their origins, and understand the contributions of marginalized communities. In California, a growing number of school districts have already implemented ethnic study courses, and the results are very promising. A study published by the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, one of the world's most respected scientific journals, found that offering ethnic studies in ninth grade specifically significantly increased graduation rates, particularly for those who were struggling. The study also showed improvements in attendance, enrollment, and even college participation. This is achieved by not avoiding hard history, but by confronting it. When students see how systems shaped their ancestors' lives, from redlining to railroad wages, they don't shrink from the challenges, they rise to them. Critics might argue that ninth graders are too young for these topics, but research says otherwise. Ninth grade is when social identities are most malleable. By introducing ethnic studies at this stage, we can shape their understanding of race, society, and equality in a conservative, constructive, and inclusive way. This course is not about dividing people or assigning blame. It simply teaches students that race is nothing more than a social construct and not an inherent trait, and thus encouraging them to critically analyze the world around them. It's about fostering empathy, understanding, and equality for all. By teaching this course, we can empower the students academically and morally, and we should be at the forefront of giving them the tools to celebrate their world and of the world of those around them, and to build a future where everyone is truly seen. So I pose the question once again, are ninth graders ready to take part of an ethnic studies course? Based on evidence and global examples, one can conclude that yes, they are. Thank you.
Adrian Ferguson.
Good evening. I grew up in East LA, which mirrored Glendora quite a bit. Everyone in my neighborhood was of one race or ethnicity. We were all, in the words of Mr. Clifford, brown people. It wasn't until junior high, when my family moved to San Gabriel, that I learned of a community that didn't look like me. It was a bit of a culture shock, but I was able to navigate through the next decade and eventually meet and marry my husband. We moved to Glendora 30 years ago and raised our family. We had two beautiful, multiracial children who successfully went through the Glendora schools. I mention all of this because, as wonderful as my kids are, they were lacking in one area that I, as a parent, did not know about until my daughter was a freshman in college. Thanks to her amazing English teachers at GHS, she became a journalism major at the University of Oregon, where she joined the paper and was given her own opinion column. She was the first freshman to ever receive her own column. She once wrote about feeling left out as a child and preteen due to her looks, about being assigned certain roles with her friends due to her darker skin and dark hair. As a mother, I was devastated to learn that my seemingly happy and strong daughter didn't feel her authentic self in a city that is more than 50% white today. I am sure that the rate was much higher when my children were growing up. While we did discuss our culture at home, it was never done in any way that a well-written ethnic studies curriculum would have done. It would have given us a foundation and her a feeling of being able to sit with friends and talk about how she felt. A chance to see how others like her had made contributions to our community, nation, and our world. Hers is not an isolated anecdote. I have been a middle school teacher for 25 years and know that this is the age where children are seeking validation in who they are and struggling to find out who they are going to become. High school freshman year may be too late to begin discussing ethnic studies, but I am so thankful that it will be a requirement in California. My observation on children who are suffering are not merely observations. One of the main causes of suicidal thought, according to Mind.org, a not-for-profit mental health organization, is bullying, prejudice, or stigma, such as relating to your race, gender, disability, or sexual identity. Imagine if our students had a place to discuss how they feel about who they are in relation to all of these and intersectionality of the whole child. According to the CDC, one of the ways to prevent suicide is to promote resilience and committing to social change. What better way than to allow students to openly discuss ethnicity and all that comes with it from a trained professional and their peers? They turn to TikTok and other social media sites to find a place. Why not give them that place in a safe and open environment using a curriculum built by educators and trusted community members? Fostering socio-emotional life skills in adolescents, being able to recognize themselves and others, and having empathy for their peers is a great start. I believe the proposed ethnic studies curriculum will give this to our kids. One of your belief statements is that education empowers students to meet the challenges of our ever-changing world. How are we encouraging that when we won't give them the opportunity to discuss each other's differences and similarities in a safe and safe space? I ask that you rethink your vote on the ethnic studies curriculum and, per your mission statement, equip every student with knowledge, skills, and character to succeed in college, career, and life in an ever-changing global society. Thank you.
Thank you. Mariana Colonelos. You helped me say it. Colonelos. Thank you for that phonetics. That was did I do it right?
I've been doing it my whole life.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Well, good evening. I'm a longtime listener, first-time speaker. As said, my name is Mariana. I am a parent of multiple students currently enrolled in Glendora schools. I'm also a 3+ year member of the Ethnic Study Community Committee. And this evening, I'm here to provide information addressing a few of the questions that were brought up at the last board meeting regarding the course.
Specifically, I'm going to focus on the importance of having the course in a K-12 environment, the placement in freshman year, and its impact on academic success. So ethnic study courses are not new to California. There are districts that have had them in place for years, so much so that it raised attention to the positive impact it was making on the student body. Various research was conducted to determine its potential benefit to the broader state. After result of numerous research, discussions, deliberation, and testing, led us to where we are today. One of the most recent case studies was held in a public school, a public high school in California with a demographic very similar to Glendora and Greater San Gabriel Valley. The researchers who were from Stanford, UMass Amherst, and UC Irvine noted that the students who participated in the course experienced an increase in attendance, an increase in graduation rates, an increase in college acceptance rates, and an increased ability in problem solving and critical thinking skills. They were able to communicate, to discuss and debate with others who had various viewpoints and various experiences, but in a respectful manner. And that aligns with a lot of the goals that we have had as a board and as our district. Now, why freshman year? Why not any other place? Well, they found that freshman year, that first year in high school, as others have also shared, created a positive impact. It created a momentum that carried the students who participated in the course all the way through their senior year. It wasn't a stacked study. The students who participated in the course were across various academic statures, various academic standing, attendance rates, those who even said, I don't feel like I belong here. There isn't a place for me here. But they found that through that discussion and the learning, they changed it around, their academic motivation increased, and they felt that they had a place at that school. A sense of pride and belonging blossomed because they saw how different groups came together and impacted their own state's history. Even if their own ethnicity was not a part of the discussion, they saw that everyone could be a part of California. It actually reminds me of what our student Dia is doing for her project, right? How does everybody have a place and grow in their environment? It was brought up, maybe this is better for college courses. There are college courses and they are much heavier. I know from grad school that those are gonna cover things that aren't ready yet for our K-12. So I'm
Thank
gonna,
you.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Allison Reese. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hello, respected board members and district representatives. It's my pleasure to come and speak with you tonight. I'm the proud mother of 2 GUSD students at Lafetra, go Leo the Lion. And I'm a teacher who's worked inside and outside of our district. I have worked in one way or another at literally every GUSD campus in our town. So I love our district from the inside and out. I'm here to talk with the board and our many friends here tonight and those watching at home about the new ethnic studies graduation requirement. It seems like we're having trouble figuring out how to deal with this, so here's my 2 cents. Okay, the objective behind the state of California's addition of ethnic studies course is to more thoroughly and specifically inform students about the ethnically diverse world beyond our current California history curriculum. In previous meetings, some of the board and some of our neighbors have shared concerns about the proposed ethnic studies curriculum. I know a lot of Glendorans. In addition to knowing families and workers through GUSD, I've also been pretty involved in my neighborhood, my local church, interfaith community activities, and I participate in Glendora city and community events. So I've been talking with my neighbors and church people and school moms and dads all about this. And one friend said to me this, he said, like anything, it comes down to implementation. If the course is taught in a divisive way, it will only lead to further problems. Still, most people I talk to agree this course is valuable. Okay, so how we do this here matters, right? We have many people with different views on this course, on politics, and probably dogs versus cats in our town. But despite these differences, we all care about quality education. And we all care about following laws. GUSD has risen to the challenge to create an ethnic studies course for the 25-26 school year, and it is a new requirement. So recognizing this and the combined work over 3 years of student, community, and faculty committees, and all of the time and money already allocated towards this cause, I urge the board to get this project over the finish line, right? Some people may not know this, but when you build a custom curriculum, it doesn't look like a teach by the numbers handbook. The course proposal that you've seen is what most curricula look like before their implementation. Educators fill in the specifics with lesson plans just right for our students. At the end of the first year, there will be like a cookie trail of everything in those lessons that needs to be chucked or changed or kept for the following year. But what we have right now, I can tell you as an experienced teacher, is a strong curriculum that's been presented. And I urge you to approve this curriculum that we have.
Thank you very much. Kate Hamilton.
Good evening, school board trustees, Superintendent DeGrazia, and staff members. I am Kate Hamilton, and I have been a member of the Ethnic Studies Community Committee. I did speak at the last meeting in support of the curriculum outline, and I was disheartened with the results of your negative vote. AB 101 is a legal graduation requirement that our students have to meet. When this was first announced, the community did express concern about the curriculum and wanted to have a voice in its development. The prior school board listened to that concern and responded to that request by approving the creation of the Ethnic Studies Community Committee. Anyone who was interested was invited to submit a written essay, give a presentation, and sit before a panel interview. We have indeed been at this for 3 years, as my son was a senior at GHS when this all began, and he's now in his 3rd year of college. We all have volunteered our individual time to be a part of this process, and I do believe our input has been considered. As for the teachers, they too have devoted time over and above their regular teaching responsibilities to create the curriculum model GHS will implement. Dr. Prince has relayed that it was not difficult to recruit teachers for this project, and in fact, they were excited to be a part of it. It is also my understanding that most of the $60,000 received from the state was used to pay these teachers for their effort. So it is disheartening at the last meeting when you voted down the curriculum outline. I thought Mr. Lopez made a very important point that a pilot year would be valuable to have in order to tweak the curriculum before it is legally to be in place. If parents are concerned about what's being taught, there's nothing that prevents them from engaging with their kids while they're taking the class and talking with them about what they're learning. In fact, I would highly encourage that. If they have concerns, they can voice them, just as they can with any other class their child is taking. So I ask you, when will this be resolved? The school year is rapidly coming to an end, and registration for the new school year begins very soon. Will the pilot ethnic studies course be available in this next school year? Are you going to discount and throw out all the time, effort, and dollars already applied to this? Isn't 3 years enough? I ask you to reconsider your vote. Thank you.
Oh, Lindy, I'm sorry, Lindy. Mike Barron.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address the trustees. First, those of us who oppose the adoption of the curriculum are not opposed to ethnic studies. We support ethnic studies. We just don't support the methodology that's being used and represented in the outline. And I would challenge anyone that has come up here to state positively, let's approve this. I ask you, if you weren't on one of the committees, have you seen the curriculum or just the outline? So there are people who support the ethnic studies curriculum clearly, as it has been presented, and there are those that oppose it. What if strong advocates from each side of this issue got together as board-appointed ad hoc committee members and discussed each other's perspectives, committed to a respectful learning process that has as its intent to resolve these differences, to understand why are we intelligent people with degrees committed to wanting the best for students, why can't we resolve this? But to make this ad hoc committee process effective, I think it's necessary that the board answer this question. What is the educational objective of the ethnic studies curriculum? What educational outcome is desired? Everything that I've heard in support of it, I agree with. It's the methodology that I disagree with. Is it the goal to provide students with a deeper understanding of the contributions and experiences of various ethnic groups throughout history and in contemporary society, to explore discrimination, to identify the good, the bad, and the ugly that these ethnic groups, these marginalized groups experienced? I would say yes, that's a good goal. Or is the goal to have students adopt a specific worldview of oppressed versus oppressor, to divide the individual into all these categories of sex, sexual orientation, race? Do we need to do that in this class to achieve the objective? The board needs to decide what that objective is. I object to intersectionality as the method by which this course is going to be taught, because it promotes divisiveness. Yes, it's sold as getting people together and making the student comfortable and feel like they're belonging, but that is, I don't believe, what will happen when you start talking about all these individual characteristics. So let's not try to socially engineer students to a perspective. Let's teach history. This course is under the history courses, so let it be a history course. Thank you.
Sarah Barron.
I release my time. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very nice. Nilda Muir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nilda Muir, and I am a teacher at Glendora High School. I'm addressing you all today as someone who has been researching and writing about ethnic studies for a year now as part of my master's project, and I urge you to reconsider and approve the ethnic studies curriculum outline. Ethnic studies, as you've already heard, shows that it increases student engagement, increases high school graduation rates, attendance, and the probability of enrolling in college. Well-planned ethnic studies curricula are often academically rigorous, and rather than being divisive, ethnic studies help students bridge differences. Academic research shows evidence that increases student exposure to courses about race, ethnicity, and diversity increases students' acceptance and tolerance towards people of other races, reduces racial bias, and fosters a sense of connection and commonality with people from different backgrounds. I share this information to remind you all that there is research that reflects the positive outcomes for ethnic studies, and it became law in California, so we have to meet the needs of our students. Ethnic studies courses and their existence in K-12 education, as also previously noted, is nothing new. Districts have been teaching ethnic studies for years now, and that's why there is research that shows these wonderful outcomes. But ethnic studies has to be done right, and in order for this to work, we have to give it the chance to be piloted. A group of teachers from this community have created a good outline where a course can be piloted in order to make it better before the mandate goes into effect. I invite you all to reflect on GUSD's belief statements listed on our website and consider how they align with the implementation of this course. Number 2 states that all people have the right to a safe, nurturing, and secure environment. Creating a space like ethnic studies does, where students can show up as their whole selves, aligns with this belief. Students don't check who they are at the door. They enter our classrooms coming from different socioeconomic backgrounds, ethnicities, races, genders, and all of these affect how they learn. It is our duty as educators to acknowledge, celebrate this diversity, and get to know who our students are in order to improve and help provide them with what they need best to learn. All people, number 3, deserve a quality education. Ethnic studies courses are academically rigorous. If you're concerned about math and reading scores, they can help with that. They can help improve those scores. Also, they're full of literacy standards, social science standards, all that good stuff, as well as higher order thinking skills. Number 4 states that successful education is a shared responsibility of the parents, students, educators, and community. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we trust our teachers that are currently working on it and that we approve this pilot. Number 5 states that challenges that lead to successful experiences build feelings of confidence and self-worth. As also previously noted, it's not too challenging for 9th graders. It's happening already K through 12 in other districts. And also 6 and 7 state that the education is a foundation for individual freedom, responsibility, justice, and democracy, and that it should empower students to meet the challenges that we are living in today. This aligns exactly with all the ethnic studies guiding principles, outcomes, and goals.
Thank you, Nilda.
Thank you.
And my final card for tonight is Jonathan Lane.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Lane. At December's board meeting, I asked for 2 things: the termination of Parker & Covert's legal services and an unredacted copy of a $7,500 invoice. I would like to thank the board and Dr. DeGrazia tonight for releasing this invoice to me. What I found is exactly what many residents of Glendora knew all along. The services provided were not to resolve a cybersecurity breach, as stated by GUSD's legal counsel, Spencer Covert, but it was for a website to promote Dr. DeLeon's image. Even stated on the website of the company, Reputation Simple states they help control your digital footprint and online reputation narrative to dominate page 1 with positive, engaging results. Nowhere on their website does it state that they resolve cybersecurity breaches. It is not an IT company. It is a marketing firm for school administrators. It is why I'm recommending Parker & Covert's contract be terminated. He lied to us using our money to protect the board's reputation instead of disclosing the truth. But what bothers me the most is the current board at the time, Reuter, Merkley, Borg, Fernando, and Ellison, along with Spencer Covert, collectively decided that it was okay to lie to the community, allow public monies for her own use, and when they could have terminated Dr. DeLeon for it, they paid her $587,000 to resign. All so their image wouldn't be tarnished just by admitting the truth. Funds that should have been used for our kids or even towards a new track at GHS. But it didn't end there. One of those 5 board members shared a letter addressed solely to me by Spencer Covert to a local activist group called Glendora Forward, a group co-founded by trustee Monica Garcia. Isn't that correct, Ms. Garcia? You co-founded the group. Instead of admitting that they were at fault for allowing Dr. DeLeon to use our tax money for her own personal use, they instead campaigned against me, saying over and over again it wasn't for a website, attacking me on social media, and even went as far to try and get me fired from my job by telling lies. For what? Speaking the truth? It was the truth, and they all knew it. The community needs to know that Monica Garcia's group, Glendora Forward, endorsed Reuter, Merkley, Borg, and the ones responsible for concealing that invoice. And tonight, as we discuss the ethnic studies curriculum, the community also needs to know they prioritize BIPOC voices over white voices, even though she campaigned on no critical race theory curriculum and maintaining fiscal responsibility, as stated on her campaign mailer. Ms. Garcia, you should resign as a result of your unethical actions by your group that you co-founded. Again, I don't know who all voted to approve the release of this invoice, but I want to thank you for bringing back some transparency and some trust. Thank you.
All right, public comment is now closed at 6:50 p.m. Thank you very much for your thoughtful comments. We appreciate them and took thoughtful notes. And we'll talk about that in the future when we have our board comments. Our next item is 4.1, Student Board Member Report. Ms. Lusk, it's up to you. And then after this, you may be released to do your homework.
Thank you. Okay, I want to start off with Stanton Elementary. We have the second trimester well underway, and we got started with parent-teacher conferences. Our PTA does a wonderful job providing our staff with wonderful lunches during that week, and the teachers are appreciative. The PTA also provided our students with an amazing assembly by imagination machine. We had 7 students that wrote stories and were able to get them acted out. It was very exciting. The staff had the opportunity to participate in the instructional rounds and found it very beneficial. We look forward to seeing how we can utilize this practice in the future. Our science fair was a big success with numerous fascinating projects on display, and all those who participated earned a 3D printed fidget that was made by some of our GUSD students. The mother-son event was also a huge success with over 100 mother-son duos joining us in all the fun. As we head into spring break, we look forward to all the end of the year fun. Stanton Elementary School. Last week, Stanton students were busy getting ready to show off their hard work and achievements. Everybody teamed up to create a fun display that highlighted the curriculum and cool projects students worked on throughout the year. Students were excited to organize their projects to share with their families. This teamwork not only brought us closer to the community, but also gave students a chance to show their learning and creativity in a meaningful way. There was also a lot of excitement as we welcomed families to celebrate our school's successes. This week, our school will host a wonderful community read aloud event that provides families and friends together and celebrates the joy of storytelling. Participants of all ages will gather to listen to captivating tales, share their favorite books, and foster a love for reading within our community. Sutherland. It has been a busy second trimester here at Sutherland. We started the trimester by holding our monthly student assembly, recognizing students for their hard work and achievements. Students also were recognized for attaining reading goals and reached 1 million words read. We are gearing up for our open house at the end of March and look forward to the display of talent and work around our school. PTA events are continuing, and our next one is a yearly favorite, our father-daughter dance. They will also be hosting a school carnival next month. Parents also started planning for the 5th grade end of the year party. After spring break, our third through fifth grade students will begin state testing, which will continue till the first week of March. Sandburg. There's a lot happening at Sandburg this month. Here are a few exciting events and activities. Wednesday, March 19th, was our combined middle school band concert in the Sandburg gym. Our student recognition luncheon was Thursday, March 20th. Our Color Palooza is here. The rescheduled event was on March 21st. We are thankful to our amazing ASB teacher, Miss Manuel, our ASB secretary, Mrs. Wagner, and our ASB scholars for all the work behind the scenes to make this event possible. The book fair is being held in the library during the week of March 24th through the 28th. Join us for our open house on Thursday, March 27th from 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. We will start with a brief PTA meeting in the gym at 6 o'clock, followed by classroom visits from 6:30 to 7:30. Mrs. Edwards' 8th grade art students will participate in a field trip to the Broad Museum on Friday, March 28th. Everybody is looking forward to getting some rest and relaxation as we approach spring break and gear up for state testing in early April. Glendora High School. As we head into spring, excitement is building with March Madness, where students are gearing up to show their school spirit. We're also preparing for the Senior Rally and All-School Awards event, a time to celebrate seniors and recognize student achievements. Meanwhile, the cast and crew of the school play have been working hard. We can't wait to see their performance come to life. In athletics, our spring sports teams are off to a strong start in league play with plenty of time left to grow and prove themselves. There's a lot to look forward to, so let's keep the energy high and continue supporting one another. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to hear what's happening, and you could sneak out. And people in the back, there's plenty of seats up front here, so come on up. You can sit and relax and do what you have to do for school. But I'm looking at 8 seats or 6 seats right here up front. So just go ahead. Thank you. I was going to come down and escort you, but I didn't want to upset the speaker. The next item we have is 4.2 comments from the members of the Board of Education. And tonight I'll start at my left with Trustee Garcia.
Thank you, because I probably have the most to say tonight. First and foremost, I'm going to address the public comment briefly. Mr. Lane, I am happy to meet with you at any given time. You let me know, send me an email, and I'm happy to have a meeting with you. I wish I could take credit.
When you did that, you threatened me in my own driveway.
Wow.
Let's try to keep.
It's unfortunate that is used in public comment to attack a board member. Not everything that is said from this podium is truth, and that's important to remember. Moving on. Thank you to all of the community members that showed up today to speak in support and in opposition of the ethnic studies. I think it's important that everyone's voice be heard, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here for the dozens of emails that we received as a board. Not just community members, but our teachers who are part of this community, but I wanted to specifically thank you for speaking tonight. I think, I know you put yourself in a very vulnerable position by coming up here, and I want to thank you for advocating for ethnic studies and more importantly for your students. It really, truly does show a great deal. And I, again, appreciate it tremendously. On to fun things. Congratulations to our National Merit finalists. I see one is still here. So thank you for sticking it out. This is a great meeting to be, and just stick it through. So proud of you. It's such an incredible accomplishment, and it's great to see that every year we've had at least two. I think last year we had one or two, and it's just such an incredible accomplishment. So thank you for all the hard work. Thank you for representing us so well. Thank you. And to our Palomares 5, unbelievable. I know a few of them. I know one's still here, and I'm incredibly proud of you guys for, sports takes such a huge commitment and time commitment, and the fact that you're still able to put in so much effort into your academics and do so successfully really does speak to your work ethic. And again, you make us very proud. Thank you for being a Tartan and making all of us proud, because I know all of your teachers that are out there, just their smiles are just ear to ear. So thank you for working so hard, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the future in your college or careers that you decide to go into. I thought I wrote it down. Oh, I wanted to send out a special thank you to GPD for all of the work that they put for action. As a parent of 2 students at the high school, that was wild. I mean, I just did a pickup for one of them. The other one had transportation, and I was dodging quite a bit of people and things flying at my car. And that was very fun. I know that had nothing to do with the high school. That's out in the community at the restaurants, but I know it's a very memorable event for our students, and I get the feedback, and they're just so excited about it. But as a parent, it was so nerve-wracking, I have to tell you. So I can't even imagine for you, the administrators that have to put all that together and supervise that madness. Thank you for doing that. And of course to GPD, because they were out there and making sure the kids were behaving and keeping them safe, which I truly appreciate. And I think that's it. If I remember, do we need to, I would like to formally ask that the curriculum, the ethics curriculum, come back for a reconsideration. Do we have to put that? Do we have to get a second to do that? How does this work?
Yeah, I assume it's coming back anyways, but you could ask for a second to
I
put
would
it on
like
a
a
future
second to
agenda.
put it on the closest meeting possible so that our teachers have time, if it does get approved, to move forward with all the work that they need to do.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And our next meeting is on April 27th, I believe, Monday, 28th.
So it'll be back on the April 28th. We have a second, so that's good. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
Trustee Kam.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much to all the people who came and spoke tonight. I really appreciate it. I took diligent notes. I will ask, though, I know what I don't know, and I am not that smart. I've been spending a lot of time looking at research, but I don't have it all. So if there's research that I think there were several members that spoke about tonight, I would love it if you could send me a source, if you don't mind. Thank you. I'm seeing the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I do the digging that I can, and whatever I find is what I'm finding. But I know, like everything else, there's a wealth of knowledge. I'm happy to read it and look into it, so thank you. This last couple weeks has been a lot of fun. I've had a really good time with, I was at Colorpalooza, I was at Stanton's open house, and it was really cool. I took my daughter with me, and I thought, we'll stop into a couple rooms. We had to go through every single room. She wanted to see what all of the classes were doing and what they were up to, and it was so cool and so inspiring. And what a great turnout and such an amazing group of parents you have at Stanton. So I'm sure we'll talk about that more later. But anyway, I was really impressed, so thank you. Colorpalooza was wild. I had never seen that before, and I showed up and I said, where do I stand that's a safe place? And they said, there is no safe place. So I, did the best I could with where the wind was shifting. I had an opportunity to speak to our SRO, Officer Arqueta, at Colorpalooza and talk to him about getting ready for action. So he was very excited about that, and I'm glad to hear that it was a hit and a lot of fun. And I was glad that I didn't have anywhere to drive to Friday night either. So anyway, I'm glad to hear that all these great things are going. I'm excited to hear all of the updates on what's been going on with the band room and our music department. And so Ms. Walzak gave us a wonderful update on that. And so we're doing everything we can to get those students everything that they need as soon as possible, which is great. The district is moving for what I consider lightning pace, which has been really wonderful and commendable. So way to go, guys. Ethnic studies. I will say, like many of the emails, I am disappointed as well that it didn't go through. So all I can say to you all is I'm really happy to report that I did not know how I was going to vote right up until the moment of the vote. I'm constantly looking and reassessing everything. I'm open to those things. I don't think anybody on this board is upset about ethnic studies. We want to do it correctly. There have been districts that had to remove ethnic studies, which I think would be devastating to our students and to our schools and teachers. I want to make sure it's implemented appropriately. I'm really excited about looking at the upcoming research that people have for me. That'll be really good and I think really informative. And just to clarify too, I don't think that ninth graders can't handle it. I think ninth graders can handle it. I'm wondering, what I want to see is if ninth graders are better off than 11th, 10th, 12th graders. That's all. So I just wanted to address that because I've heard that a couple times and I want to really clarify that. I know our students are amazing and spectacular and can do all kinds of wonderful things. And in our house, we talk about ethnicity almost every day with our kids. So it's something that I think is really valuable. So I don't want that to come across as like we're afraid of ethnic studies, we don't want ethnic studies. I really would love to see ethnic studies implemented in a really meaningful way in our district. And I think it would be really great to see what I've heard is our long-term vision of having multiple classes, multiple versions, multiple variations on what ethnic studies could look like for our students. So I'm excited about that. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about. Oh, and just to the last thing that I have to clarify that I think is really important in all of this, and the reason that we're looking at this so intensely, is that while it is something that is AB 101 was put forward, when AB 101 was put forward, it was removed and added the language of pending appropriation of funds. And that's an important thing for us to look at. So while it is something that the state is saying is required, it is not something that the state can legally require at this point. And I think that's important for us to understand. Not that we're afraid of ethnic studies, not that we don't want ethnic studies, that we need to do it right, and that it's not something that is required at this point. And I think it still could be a great class for us, regardless of whether it's required or not. So I want to just kind of put all that out there. I think I've done a lot of discussion about this. I've talked to a lot of people. I've spent a lot of time thinking. I've looked at a lot of research. And I love that there's more out there. The thing that I can say is really beautiful about all of this and the silver lining is that when I teach ethnicities in my courses, the best thing is that diversity of thought makes people have conflict frequently, but you ultimately get a better outcome. And I think we're kind of seeing that in real time here in our community. And so I think that we're taking our time to have these discussions. We're taking our time to look at these things meaningfully. And my hope is that at the end of that, we have something that's actually a better product for our students, academically rigorous, wonderful for their development, great for setting them up for college, and all of the good things. So I don't want people to think that we've put this away and it's in a locker. It's something that we're continuing to have conversations about. I have meetings scheduled to keep gaining more information, and I'll continue doing that. So thank you very much. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate everybody who spoke tonight. So thank you for all of your perspectives.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez, you're up.
Thank you, Trustee Clifford. First of all, thank you to the community for coming out tonight and speaking on ethnic studies. It's great feedback for us. In education, we don't have fear, we go, okay? So it's time to go. Now, as far as action, Ms. Garcia, that's what administrators call fun. That's no. So you get involved, and the great thing about that night is it's so fun to be with the kids because they're so excited, they play so hard, and it's just a fun night to be a part of. So Action's a great event. National Merit Finalist, Carter's still here. Dia left, I know, but that is absolutely amazing to be a finalist. Every year we have semifinalists, but to go to the finalist in the competition is beyond good. California is the most competitive state in the country as far as the national merit competition, so congratulations and well done. As far as the scholar athletes, the Palomares 5, that's what we have, scholar athletes, right? They do it in the classroom and they do it on the fields and the courts, okay, or whatever they're participating in. So proud of all of our students because they do such a good job on a regular basis. But when you talk about national merit, top 6,000 in the country, right? When you talk about the Palomares 5, and just in the league, there's only 30 kids chosen, right? It's still 30 kids chosen. But remember, Glendora High School, along with the other high schools, have about 1,600 athletes on their campus that are participating. So the number is quite astounding. When you're the top 5 in the league, that's a great accomplishment. And we have great students, and they do a great job. Samantha Sachs, I had a chance to see her wrestle as Ms. Norell did in the finals, and it was just kind of funny because she just gets out on the mat and she just looks at her opponent a couple times, then it's boom, boom, they're pinned. So that's just the way it goes, and I was fortunate enough to see her wrestle in her semifinal and her quarterfinal. Quarterfinal was a pin, and her semifinal she won 19-2. She was just toying with the girl. It's like, this isn't going to be it wasn't going to be a contest, and it wasn't. So congratulations to our Tartans who are here tonight, and congratulations to all of our Tartans as they continue to achieve and do great things as students at Glendora High School.
Thank you.
Can I just add really quickly too, Carter, you give me a lot of hope for Wikipedia, so thank you. I appreciate that. That's good work.
Trustee Munoz, you're up.
Thank you, Trustee Clifford, President Clifford. First off, want to thank the National Merit finalists. I know Carter's still here. Amazing. All the hard work and dedication. And the Palomares 5 scholar athletes, I mean, just working hard in the classroom and on the field and sports. That takes a lot of commitment. But also I want to thank not only the National Merit finalists and the Palomares 5 scholar athletes, but the parents. The parents, the sacrifice they do for their kids. I mean, to support them. And I know all parents, want the best for the kids, but I want to thank all of you that worked really hard to have these outstanding scholar athletes and National Merit finalists. That's amazing. So thank you very much. Second thing, last week I had the chance to visit Sandburg, and we had the recognition lunch, and it was really great to see all the teachers who they picked the most outstanding student in their classroom. So I got to go to the recognition lunch. It was really amazing. They served tacos and got to hear all the great, wonderful things about their students. So another thing that I got to do last week was meet with the GHS baseball team. So I got to, my nephew's on the baseball team, so they had a barbecue at our family ranch, and I got to meet all the athletes, all amazing, amazing kids, all of them. So I wish them luck, and so that was great meeting the whole team. Lastly, on the board agenda, I know we were talking about the ethnic studies. I want to thank each and every one of you that came out and made a public comment. I know it takes a lot of work for you writing these speeches. I know it's only 3 minutes, but you guys said a lot of meaningful things, and I wrote them down, and I'll take all of your concerns. A lot of times it causes division because it's something sensitive. We want this, and one thing I want to just point out to the public is I want ethnic studies too. I'm Hispanic. I feel it's so important to teach ethnic studies, but I look at the outline, and that's the thing I'm questioning. I don't want there to be something different, but I want ethnic studies. I want this to pass. So I'm glad that Monica made the motion to put on the agenda. We want to revisit it. Hopefully there could be those changes be done, and we can get approved. We want it in the school system. So, but again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today, and that's it.
Thank you very much. My very brief comments. The Sandberg lunch for the students that were outstanding. I'll bet you some of our athletes and scholars that are here tonight were honored at Sandberg or Goddard during their time when they came up. It's just fabulous to do. The only advice I have is don't invite me to Sandberg on an early out day when both Lafetra and Sandberg are getting out and I have to make a left-hand turn on Bennett off of Grand Avenue and try to get to Sandberg on time, because it won't happen. So I'm sure you've all experienced that, but what a wonderful afternoon. It's hard when you're working all day and then you get to take a lunch break with students and teachers that are celebrating accomplishments. I just think it was phenomenal. I appreciate everyone that was there and the time that we actually get to sit with the students at their little table in the library and converse with them, and they have some very thoughtful questions. So I appreciate that, as I also appreciated the families and the athletes and the scholars. And I think it's interchangeable. Our scholars are athletes and our athletes are scholars, and it's a really good thing. And my family's going through some state championships of their own right now in the ice hockey arena. So we have to go up to San Jose next weekend. It's just like all of those state championships are happening everywhere. And so I really, like Trustee Munoz said, I really have my hats off to the families and their dedication to their children and their sports and their goals and objectives. So thank you for that. On ethnic studies that came back, first off, I appreciate the board listening to everyone tonight and the people that stayed within the 3 minutes. That was very helpful so we can hear everyone. I received 21 emails between the last meeting and this meeting, and I try to respond to all of them. For the ones that are anonymous, I usually don't, because I don't know who they're going to, but ones that come to the board I respond to and try to get back and thank them for their feedback and their comments. And of the 21, I would say it was about a mixed bag. Half of them were supportive and half of them gave me a corrective action for not doing what they wanted me to do and speak to it that way. And for me, I just want everyone to know that, you know, my decision is a policy decision, which is a different decision than when you're actually doing the academic work or teaching it. And I'm very appreciative and thoughtful of the policy, but I look at it from a standpoint of the legality, the implementation, the cost, everything associated with it, not deciding whether it's good or bad, but I'm looking at the overall performance of our academics and really want to improve mathematics and English and put as much time and effort as we can in that first. And I think it's interesting that I got a lot of feedback that just said, hey, you got to approve this the way it is. And my answer is, no, I don't. I don't have to. I want to, but I don't have to, because just like a paper that a teacher would get or anybody else, you have to meet the criteria for making that decision. And I think it's incumbent on people to try to work to get me there if that's the case. So what I want you to know is that I've taken a lot of time and effort and worked with staff. I've given them alternatives to what I believe would be helpful to get my support in it. And certainly being reverent to all of the citizens and all of the teachers that have helped us come this far. It was a long time ago. It was a different board. Boards evolve and change. And I think what I heard tonight, there was a really good idea about get the groups together and come up to consensus. I think that's the whole thing. And I think that's the tone of my policy making, is try to come to consensus. For the groups that want to get to a particular place, I want to come to consensus. I don't want to have an arena where people are saying, oh, hey, you made some horrible decision, or wow, thank you very much. It's more to me about consensus, being thoughtful about it. But in closing, I just want to say that many of the reasons that were in some of the emails which weren't as complimentary were some of the reasons that I didn't vote for that outline. And then there were some other really good feedback ones. So I just wanted you to know that it's just through my policy lens that I make those decisions, and appreciated all the feedback. But that we were very busy between last meeting and this meeting and coming to consensus and meeting with staff and trying to help. So that being said, we'll move on then to the next item, which is the most important report of the night besides the student one, it's the superintendent's
I
report.
would say the three most important will be the school reports for sure. No doubt about that. There's 1 week that everybody knows is next week, especially staff and students in the room. Spring break is next week. We want everybody to enjoy it safely. School resumes. Don't forget, it resumes on Monday, April 7th. We want you to come back safe and sound. Be safe during your time to rest and rejuvenate. Open houses continue this week. Lafetra and Sutherland will have their open houses on Wednesday evening. And both middle schools, Goddard and Sandburg, will have theirs on Thursday evening. Sandburg, while you're there visiting their open house, you might want to take a look at their hydroponic farm. March being National Nutrition Month, they earned a grant from Sprouts in the garden class there with Mrs. Bizzotto, and they've been harvesting lettuce that's grown with just water, no soil. And they're harvesting that and they're serving it at lunch to the Sandburg Spartans. So that's a wonderful sustainability piece. Check it out when you have an opportunity. You're going to hear from our three final school reports tonight. Outstanding. Each one of them you're going to hear from Lafetra, Stanton, and culminating with Glendora High School. Congratulations certainly to Carter and all of the students recognized this evening for their amazing efforts. We celebrate their success. We're very proud of them. Speaking of proud, we just recently recognized our last few slate of proud to be GUSD winners at Cullen. Dulce Salinas and Lisa Harwick were the winners for those awards this year. In Stanton, Eric Velasco, the custodian, and Christy Prouty. And then at Williams, their head custodian, Linda Arciniega. We also presented a special Proud to be GUSD award to a former board member in the last couple of weeks. And that was to Doris Blum for her 30-plus years of service. So she's the first non-employee. I think she's very deserving. Non-employee to ever, let's give her a hand. Non-employee to ever receive the award, and she was selected recently as one of Glendora's Women of Distinction, and rightly so. Special thanks to the LA County Fire Department, the Glendora Police Department, who's first on scene, the Glendora High School administration and staff up bright and early, and some of our GUSD staff as well to assist with a fire that took place about a week and a half ago in the music wing at Glendora High School. Due to that quick action and reaction and appropriate alarms being heard and sounded and utilized, they were able to limit the damage that occurred there because it could have been much, much worse. The significant damage of smoke, ash, some immediate damage where the fire occurred is really in the choir room at Glendora High School, room 10. I think we've cleared room 11, the band orchestra room, as of today. That's been fully cleaned, top to bottom. Some things needed to be replaced in there. Certainly, the choir room will take much longer, but we wanted to thank those first responders. Some are here. Some are our staff. Thank them for their immediacy and their care of all things Glendora and Glendora High School. Much appreciated. That's all I have.
Dominic, I forgot one note that I had. I got ahead of myself. On a couple of speakers tonight and a couple of my emails and our GTA president talked about being in legal peril and some other things. My take on the legality, I think Trustee Cam talked about the legality of it, but the requirement, as far as I understand too, is that our graduating seniors in 2030 have to have this class, and they could have it in 2029 or whatever that is. That's the right now.
That's the technical requirement. I'll have Dr. Prince speak to the
Speak to
rest.
that, because I want to make sure that in public, people know that, in my perception, we're not in any legal peril. We haven't broken any law. We're just taking thoughtful time and looking at this outline, and the board wasn't comfortable with the outline. So could you speak to that legality
Yeah,
part?
so there's two elements required in AB 101. One of them is that the graduates of the class of 2030 have the course, but there's also a requirement that you have a pilot in place in the 25-26 school year. So there's two requirements, and I think that's what people are referring to, the pilot in 25-26.
And what if you don't have have the pilot, what's the legality? What, does that mean our students can't graduate in 25, 26?
The 25, 26 graduates wouldn't be the class that couldn't graduate. There might be some financial repercussions. There might be audit repercussions. If we had like a federal programs monitoring, we might have findings based on that, but it doesn't impact the graduation until the next year of students.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so the next item we have are the ones that we've been waiting for reals, and thank you for hanging in there. The first one is item 5.1, Lafetra Elementary, and the principal, Miss Katie Green, is here. Thank you. All right, Miss Green, you have 3 minutes. Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
That's perfect. Thank
The wrong
you.
one, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, go right ahead.
All right, good evening, President Clifford, Board, Dr. DeGrazia, and Executive Cabinet. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a life at Lafetra Elementary. I did want to start and kind of jump on the bandwagon with the rest of you that 2 of the sports, people Samantha and Tatiana, were from Lafetra, so I thought I would add that. And some of their teachers are here as well, so that was fun to see them. I also want to extend my thank you to my staff that's here today. You heard that we have our open house this Wednesday, so they are very, very busy, but they came out to support, and I really appreciate that. And I'll say that I'm grateful my daughter also came out to support me as well, and for an assignment for her government class. So, but I appreciate she chose this one. All right, let's get started. All right, here's our school overview. This year, Lafetra Elementary has seen an increase in student enrollment. In the 23-24 school year, we had 594 students, and currently of March 2025, our enrollment has grown to 611. A key factor in this increase was the addition of our second TK class. If you look at our student demographics and subgroups, you can see that they closely align with those of our district. One unique aspect of our school is our TKK Special Day class. Now in its second year, this program has been a valuable addition to our campus, and we are pleased with the positive progress we have seen this year. On to our academic performance. In both English and language arts and math, our student achievement has remained statistically consistent, with only a 1% percentage point variance from the previous year. Although science scores were not officially counted this year, we observed that a significant number of students fell into the approaching band. We are actively assessing the implementation of our new science curriculum and will continue to monitor data across all subject areas, identifying opportunities for growth and improvement. A significant achievement this year is improvement in our chronic absenteeism and suspension rates. Our overall student population moved from yellow to green and in blue in these areas. Additionally, our EL learners, students followed this positive trend, improving from orange to green in chronic absenteeism. Last year, with our state indicators and subgroups, 16 were shown as yellow or orange. This year, that number has decreased to 13, reflecting overall progress. However, there are still areas that require attention. While our overall student achievement remains steady in the green band, some subgroups, including students with disabilities, socioeconomically disadvantaged students, Hispanic students, and our white students population in math, are scoring in the yellow or orange categories. As a school, we are proactively addressing this by looking into our data, utilizing our interventions, and utilizing interim assessments to better prepare our students for state testing and support their continued academic growth. After reviewing our data, 3 key areas I'd like to highlight are our steady academic performance, improved attendance, and decreased suspension rates. Our ELA and math scores have remained consistent over the years, reflecting the strength of instructions in our classroom. This consistency demonstrates our teachers' ability to adapt to different groups of students while delivering curriculum effectively. While our data remains a positive, we continue to analyze it for areas of growth and improvement. Improved attendance. Attendance has shown significant improvement over the past few years. This is also due in part to the welcoming environment created by our teachers and staff, as well as the dedication of our attendance clerk, We are also diligently tracking student attendance, communicating with families, and helping coordinate supports when needed to ensure students are present and engaged. Decreased student rates. Suspension rates. Our suspension rates continue to decline thanks to clear school-wide expectations that are consistently reinforced by staff. We emphasize restorative practices, helping students reflect on their choices and learn from mistakes. Additionally, our student support specialist provides support for individual students and groups who need extra guidance. These positive trends reflect the collective efforts of our staff and our commitment to student excellence. All right, for my reflection, I decided to do glows and grows. I thought it would be fun to have a little alliteration with it as well. For my glows, it's a strong sense of community among our staff and our families and students, increased connectivity and engagement within our school. The adding of STEAM and art really helped out this year. Focus on character building to support social emotional growth. We're working on Character Strong. Improve communication with family and staff. We have weekly newsletter and our social media is growing. Some areas of growth that we are working on is more effective data usage to drive instruction, further developing our IST process, strengthening our grade level collaboration for instructional alignment, and utilizing interim assessments for deeper insight into studying student learning, which we are hoping to expand upon in the future of our state scores. On this one, it says, Lions Pride runs through everything we do. At Lafetra, our Lions Pride truly shines through everything we do, creating a strong sense of community and connection across our campus. This year, we focused on unique initiatives that build our school family and foster pride in our shared identity. For P, proud school spirit. Green and white symbolize unity and pride. One of the most loved traditions that was brought back was an added twist is our Friday Spirit Day. On this day, students are encouraged to wear green or Lafetra gear to show their school spirit. Classrooms with the highest participation get a special visit from one of the Leo Lions Friends for the Week, and they're celebrated in our weekly video announcements. R, Roaring Lion Leadership. As the only administrator on site, it's essential to have strong leaders to support me. This year, our school leadership team has been invaluable in helping me with guiding our efforts, along with the dedicated staff members who contribute to our school site council. We also have teacher leaders involved with our Lafetra Foundation and PTA, all of whom play a crucial role in supporting and driving change. I, instructional commitment to learning. Building foundational skills for lifelong success. We have been talking about Tier 1 instruction, which we know is the best important instruction that all students get, and that is from their classroom teacher. Most of the pictures you see come from just one day of me walking around and seeing all the instruction our students receive each and every day. D, dedicated community values. Encouraging kindness, respect, and strong relationships. This year we have been focusing on the Character Strong traits, which is a program provided from the district. Each week teachers have weekly videos where I talk about the monthly character traits and where we share our successes. E, engaging together to grow and succeed. Another initiative that brings our school together is our buddy class program. Each class is paired with another to build camaraderie and connection across grade levels. Once a month, buddy classes are encouraged to come together for an activity that strengthens relationships and creates a sense of belonging. Student life. There is something I say often, and that is visiting Lafetra is an experience. On any given day, you can come to our school and something will surely be going on. You walk into the classrooms and you can see our students' life is defined by 100% engagement. It is hard to put into words and define the experience and interactions they have with our teachers and staff. You have to live it to understand it. And when I moved over there, I felt it. I just have to tell you this, what I say all the time, there's just something about this school. Step onto our campus and you never know what the adventure awaits. One moment, and I'm just going to go kind of out the pictures up there. One moment you might find yourself caught in the middle of a parade of colorful student-created floats, but stroll a little farther and the lunch area will be transformed into a full-blown disco party. Peek into a classroom and you may witness young surgeons in action performing intense math surgery as they dissect problems. Up in the STEAM lab, you'll find students huddled together using critical thinking to tackle their latest STEAM lab challenge. Step outside to the playground and you might stumble upon a cultural performance or wander into the cafeteria and you'll hear the room filled with joyful sounds of students learning traditional holiday songs, embracing celebrations from around the world. Walk in between the classrooms and you might come across a heartwarming scene of older students reading alongside their younger buddies, fostering friendships that span grade levels. And if you're not paying attention, well, you just might find yourself whisked away on a bus off to explore learning beyond the walls of Lafetra, where the world becomes our classroom. Lafetra is a feeling of learning, doing, living, loving, succeeding, laughing, failing, creating, sharing, all wrapped up into a day's work times 10. That is why every day is an adventure and learning is anything but ordinary. Staff life. So, who creates all this for our students? Well, it's my incredible staff. Without them, our students would not have the remarkable experience they have each day. All of my staff works tirelessly to create the best possible environment for learning and growth at Lafetra Elementary. My teachers go above and beyond by fostering, nurturing, engaging, and safe classroom where students can thrive. Their dedication extends well beyond the classroom walls, and they actively participate in family nights, serve on multiple committees, and remain ever present in the school community. Equally, I want to celebrate the contributions of all of my staff members who are essential in making Lafetra this outstanding place it is. From our food service team to our STEAM and art teachers, our noon aides, front office, school nurse, custodians, librarians, student support specialists, support aides, and our additional teachers. They all work so hard for our students each and every day. Beyond their individual roles, our staff has a cohesive team to ensure consistency and equity for all students. Together, we implement monthly character traits in every classroom, taught unified school-wide rules and expectations, and embrace district priorities. I cannot overstate how proud I am to work along such dedicated and talented individuals. Each of them plays a vital role in creating a school environment where every student can learn, grow, and succeed. All right, on to my parent life. This year, we've seen an increase in our parent involvement, which has been truly wonderful. We have new faces joining us on our PTA, as well as on our Lafetra Foundation and School Site Council, all of whom are making valuable contributions. Our PTA does an amazing job of enriching the school experiences for both students and families. They fund the field trips and buses, organize family nights, and host special events like our annual talent show. Additionally, they provide teacher luncheons and help provide materials for our teachers. Our Lafetra Foundation continues to play a significant role in supporting our school. They provide resources for both teachers and students and help fund our online learning tools, which are crucial for our students' success. Our School Site Council has been essential in improving our school site and safety plans, ensuring we are on track to meet our goals. Our families are truly an integral part of our family, and we are committed to working together to engage even more parents in our school's community. Future life at Lafetra. At Lafetra, we embrace our differences, yet we are all united by the same goal, to create a school where every student feels welcome and is able to grow to their fullest potential. As we move forward, I want us to continue fostering this commitment while being intentional about using various data to drive meaningful change. Our focus will be on improving our state test scores and also our attendance, behavior incidents, and overall student engagement. Additionally, we will focus on increasing parent involvement, enhancing social-emotional learning, and supporting our teachers with the resources they need to succeed. And that is my presentation for you.
Principal Green, thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to the board for any questions or comments.
You did it. You're done. Great presentation. Thank you so much. And I have to agree that there's something special about Lafetra. I definitely feel it. My kids went to Cullen, but when I step onto Lafetra. I feel that love, I feel that connection, not just the staff, but from the moment you walk in, your front office staff is just so welcoming, and I appreciate that. And then she promised me avocados on Friday, and I haven't been there. There she is. I have a couple of questions for you. One that I've asked all of our principals, and I'll wait for the end for that. But you mentioned that one of your grows was more data-driven usage, more data usage. So how do you plan on doing that, and what type of data are you looking at?
So we've started looking at it at our staff meetings, and really at our last one was, what is data to you? What is it? What drives it? And even our art teacher said something as, well, how many crayons are being used by how much I have to buy? And even our TK shared with me that they had a lot of potty accidents. And so when she initiated, she started putting stars, they lessened. So she used that data to start doing more positive reinforcement. So it was really looking at all data. Now I know you're talking probably the math that you
No, that's helpful too. That's important.
It's so it's just having us look at the data and then going into it deeper. The state test scores only come out once a year. So what other scores do we have throughout the year that can help us determine what the state tests are going to be? So I've been looking alongside with some of the teachers, looking at our STAR tests and how that aligns with the state and what they get on their STAR test, what that would look like there. And so it's just having conversations. This year we started the conversations with our teacher as far as the data, and then next year it's implementing how are we using it forward.
Awesome, thank you for that. And then you mentioned you're developing your IST process. What is, I know you're developing it, so I won't ask what does that look like, but how many interventionists are part of that team?
So our IST process consists of, it's kind of hard to, so it's teacher initiated, so everyone can be a part of it. So it starts with the teacher and with the student. So they start with it, and our plan is to bring together with their team and to talk about the individual students. And then we move forward, and the next part, I come in, and maybe the psychologist comes in, our ed specialist comes in. It just depends where they are. It's a process, so there's different levels, right? They will have their first meeting, second meeting, third meeting.
So I guess what I want to know is, do you have a math interventionist and a reading interventionist?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yes, we have a math intervention and a reading interventionist.
Okay, so you have one of each?
Yes.
Okay, and then of course, my final question is, what can we as a board do to support you as you develop and proceed with your grows?
To just continue to support the programs. I think our math and our reading interventions are an integral part of helping our teachers, with that. I love the STEAM and art. I think students want to come to school. I have parents saying, my kids want to make sure they're on time and ready for those classes. So those are important as well. So if we just kind of continue supporting our school, coming by and seeing us is great as well.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
I'll just make a couple comments. I was really impressed coming to your school. You were my first site visit, and it was really great to get to see everything. I was so impressed. One of the things you mentioned was the TKK special day class, and watching teachers cater and really personalize services to those students was inspirational, really, which was really cool. Your staff are incredible at the site, and being there for a bunch of different things, it's been really fun to see. You guys are doing a great job. I really appreciate it. I will say, too, one of the things I didn't get to mention earlier, but we did the TK Kinder night, the informational night, and Dr. Naharo did an incredible job welcoming in new families. But it was really cool to see you and your staff together afterwards. I kind of hung around and lingered with all of you, and you can tell that there's just a lot of trust, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of really good connection there. And so while Dr. Naharo did a great job that night, and it was cool to see a full room, it was really great to see that afterwards, that you guys have a team that seems to be functioning so well. So keep up the great work. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Oh, no, nothing. I just want to thank you for the presentation. My questions were answered, But sounds like you have a good system, you have a good environment with the staff and everything, which I love seeing. So just keep up the good work.
I'll echo the same sentiments. So the culture, you've addressed the culture, you're addressing your test scores, you know where you guys need to do your work. So now it's just a matter of doing the work. So good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. The colors look good, and it's an improvement, and that's all we can ask. So thank you. Have a good evening. Tell your staff, thank you for coming. All right, the Eagles are in the house. Our next presentation is Principal Nicole Cook from Stanton Elementary School.
Lower the mic here.
A lot of red coming up.
Yes. Yes.
They have. Nicole, I just want to know if you guys watch Jackie and Shadow all the time too.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That's it. That's
And
your
I've watched them
presentation.
previously, too.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, they're here to represent.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're staying up late too to watch. All right, so good evening, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Board President Clifford, esteemed members, for allowing me, Superintendent DeGrazia, and the Executive Cabinet members for allowing me to present a day in the life at Stanton Elementary. My name is Nicole Cook, and I am honored to serve as president of our Proud Eagles. As this... What did I say? President. Oh, that too. Same thing, yeah. As the principal of our Proud Eagles. As this is my first year, obviously, at Stanton, some aspects of the story you're about to hear may reflect my fresh perspective. As I began this journey, I was presented with the data from the 23-24 school year as it was new to me, and saw that it was a reflection of the hard work, achievements, and challenges of our students and staff. This information has provided valuable insights, guiding my understanding of where we've been and where we are headed. Tonight, I am excited to share both the data and the stories behind it, because our school is more than just numbers. It is a vibrant community with a deep commitment to student success. So I just want to thank you all too for coming. All right. Oh, and I have the clicker. Sorry. I can't multitask. It's amazing I can run a school too. Okay, so this slide here provides an overview of Stanton Elementary, offering valuable insights into my experience learning about the school. I would like to point out a few data points that will help illustrate our story. In our school's demographic makeup, you will notice that 60% of our students are Hispanic, compared to 40% at the district level. Additionally, we have the highest percentage of English learners, with 11% of our students identified, whereas the district's percentage is 6%. Furthermore, 53% of our students are considered socioeconomically disadvantaged, in contrast to 32% at the district level. Understanding who our students are before even looking at any other data gives us context and perspective to help dig deeper into our story. We do recognize that in order to make solid decisions, we must understand and accept that Stanton has not made the increases we have wanted and desired to make. However, we continue to refine our practices and dig deep into barriers and challenges to move forward. All right, slide 3. Although this slide lacks the color we would prefer for now, we utilize it to inform our instructional decisions. Let's look at the positives on this slide. The chronic absenteeism column, where you see yellows, was predominantly red and orange, and now it is yellow for all students and most of our subgroups. Our students with disabilities went from red in the area of ELA and is now orange. Our English learners went from yellow to green in the area of mathematics. This demonstrates that we achieved growth in those state indicators, and we will maintain that momentum. All right, slide 4. As the president/principal, just kidding, of Stanton Elementary, I am committed to supporting our students' academic success through targeted initiatives. We have implemented Eagle Time, a school-wide literacy support system aimed at improving our English language arts state scores. For our English language learners, we offer an EL after-school class which enhances reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. In mathematics, our after-school math class and interim assessment serve as vital support systems to boost our state scores. Additionally, we are proud to see a significant decline in chronic absenteeism from 26% in 2023 to 19% in 2024 and 11% as of this month, reflecting our dedication to creating a conducive learning environment for all students. Slide 5. Team building at Stanton has been an enriching and enjoyable experience. Every other month or so, we organize engaging activities to foster camaraderie, such as a paper, rock, scissors challenge, a nacho bar, or writing kind notes to colleagues. The joy and smiles shared among us contribute to a positive school environment, ultimately enhancing our ability to meet the needs of our students. To enhance our mission, we are systematically integrating SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, into our IST process. These focused objectives are designed to drive student success. During recent staff meetings, we have dedicated time to discussing the restructuring of our IST process to effectively address the needs of our struggling students. Additionally, I have implemented an attendance program called Eagles on a Mission, which focuses on students struggling with attendance or tardiness. At the beginning of each month, I meet with these students to set personalized goals and check in with them 1 to 2 times a week to monitor their progress. When students thrive academically, attend school on time, and have enjoyable activities to engage in during lunchtime, the school experience becomes increasingly rewarding. Thanks to the support of GEF, we have been able to purchase outdoor games, Lego sets, and other activities for our students, which have also contributed to improved behavior on the playground. So as you can see, that's kind of like, take off my glasses for a second. So it's kind of that revolving kind of, cycle there as to how it all, plays out. All right. Next. All right. Our hidden gem. Our hidden gem of Stanton is our partnership with Foothill Church, which enriches our community through events such as Affordable Christmas and a Day of Service. Affordable Christmas is organized and led by members of the church and is a long-standing 10-year cherished event where community members generously donate toys and bicycles through the church, which then allows all Stanton families the opportunity to purchase these items at an affordable cost. While parents shop, children enjoy games and pancakes supplied by PTA with Santa and Mrs. Claus, while elves assist with wrapping gifts and loading cars. This truly is the most magical time of the year. Additionally, our collaboration continues with a Day of Service, during which approximately 100 volunteers from the church come to campus to enhance the environment of our school. Their efforts can include organizing our PE shed, painting picnic tables, and or tending to our garden boxes. Stanton is indeed fortunate to have Foothill Church as a dedicated partner. Slide 7. This is cherishing the moment student life. From the moment our students enter that red gate until they leave for the day, they are greeted with smiles, as we are too. This positive atmosphere continues with our Kind Kids Club, it's a tongue twister, which meets on Tuesdays after school and teaches students the importance of performing small acts of kindness. During this time, students have made cards of encouragement to the firefighters of the Eaton Fire and their classmates and peers. Additionally, students at Stanton can foster their strategic thinking and friendly competition while participating in the chess club, which is fully funded by our Title I funds. Once a month, we gather in our quad for a school-wide assembly led by our student leadership team, where we recite the pledge and share important announcements. During these assemblies, we also recognize our Stanton scholars who have received a red ticket for their achievements, and our librarian, Mrs. Cushman, highlights our outstanding AR readers. Furthermore, students have the opportunity to actively participate in our STEAM lab, where they investigate concepts in engineering, coding, and building, alongside engaging in innovative art projects. So those are just some pictures. I just have to say that little boy right there is so cute. All right, moving on. Did I skip one? No, okay, sorry about that. And my peeps back there. What can I say about my staff without becoming emotional? Truly. They have wholeheartedly welcomed me since my arrival. Becoming a new member of the team can be tough, but my experience at Stanton has been quite the opposite. Every staff member has been incredibly open, generously sharing their knowledge about the school and offering their assistance. Many have often stayed late to help me acclimate to my new role, and they know. As a new principal, I believe in leading through learning with a key focus on enhancing our practices. As I mentioned before, one of the ways we are achieving this is by restructuring our IST process. Sorry, now I'm all blurry. Restructuring this process involves streamlining our intervention strategies to better align with student needs. By implementing more targeted student goals and data-driven decision-making, we can identify specific areas where students require support. This approach will foster more effective collaboration among staff, allowing us to share best practices and resources. Ultimately, these improvements will lead to more personalized interventions, enhancing student outcomes and ensuring that every child receives the support they need to succeed. I feel truly fortunate to be part of such an exceptional team and am excited about the many accomplishments we will achieve together for our students and our community. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all my staff, both classified and certificated, for their dedication and hard work each day, as well to my office staff and their invaluable contributions. Slide 9. My PTA and parent life partnerships. The PTA has done an outstanding job this year in bringing our families together on campus. We successfully hosted events such as Donuts with Dear Ones, Lunch with a Loved One, and a highly successful Glow Party fundraiser for our students. The PTA serves as the backbone of our school, and we are immensely grateful for their contributions. They also provided significant support to Affordable Christmas by coupling it with their Breakfast with Santa. For the 24-25 school year, we have organized 3 parent nights, including a visual and performing arts night with a focus on Dia de los Muertos, a game night, a discussion focused on parent-child communication and information on our disaster plan. We have an upcoming parent education night on April 14th dedicated to understanding state testing. We are committed to enhancing parent involvement in the upcoming year, which is a key goal for us and part of our Title I Parent Involvement Plan. We will continue to engage parents through Parent Square, our Wednesday folders, and our social media platforms. All right, and last but not least, the future of Stanton. Charting our path forward centers on our commitment to improving attendance and academic achievement. We have noticed a decline in attendance, particularly on rainy days. To address this issue, we have implemented the Rainy Day Challenge. We haven't started it yet. It hasn't rained yet, thank God. So I'll let you know how it turns out. An initiative designed to incentivize student attendance during inclement weather. Students who attend school on rainy days will be entered into a drawing, with 10 students selected at the end of the day to receive a prize. This initiative reflects our dedication to fostering a positive educational environment and encouraging consistent student participation. We aim to enhance overall test scores by introducing small group interventions that provide personalized support for students, allowing our targeted instruction in key areas. Our school-wide Eagle Time program creates dedicated opportunities for focused learning in literacy, ensuring students receive the attention they need to thrive. Additionally, the use of interim assessments will help us monitor student progress regularly, enabling timely adjustments to our instructional strategies and ensuring that all students are well prepared for success on their assessments. I can't wait to come next year to share our growth with you. That's it.
Thank you very much. Questions back to the board? From the board, statements from Mr. Munoz.
All right, I just want to say thank you for that presentation. I got to visit your school, and you know, like you said, your whole staff. I could see them all here. Thank you for all showing up. When I went to the grounds at your school, your staff was very polite. I felt very welcome just coming in. Everyone was just very attentive, and I could see the unity that you created. So I just want to commend you on that environment. I have a couple questions. Eagle Time. Can you explain a bit more what that is?
For sure. So we have two different times. One is in the morning, and then they're both in the morning, but they're 2 half-hour cycles. and it's where our students shift, and it's more of that individualized instruction time, kind of like a what I need time, where the students go and they shift between classrooms, and whether it's they're focusing on phonics, whether phonemic awareness, whether it's a literacy group fluency, and they just rotate within that just based on whatever it is they need. And then the students just rotate for that half-hour block, and then that's for the primary, and then an upper grade time where they're able to rotate during that time as well.
Okay. And second thing, I had a question on the EL after school skills and your math after school class. How have you seen as far as the attendance on that?
So it's been great so far. So our EL after school, we just started that, and that's in preparation more so for the LPAC. So this is the first, well, for me being the first year. So it's been good. So we're looking forward, hopefully, to improve those scores, but the attendance has been great. And as far as the after-school math, we've just started and implemented it with the 4th grade. So that's been really successful too. My hope is for next year to implement it more than 4th grade. I'd like to grow in that respect. So far the attendance has been good.
They've been good, okay. And so that doesn't reflect, I guess, looking at the numbers from 2023, 24.
For the math scores in that, is that what you're referring to as the increase between that two?
Yes.
I can't say that would be a factor, but that's a good question. Are you asking as far as it increasing those EL scores? That I can't speak of, but that's a good question.
Okay.
So I would say no, because I don't think that we had that EL practice, but we'll see for next year, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Lopez.
Thank you for your presentation.
You're
Very well done, and just, looking, there's just work to do, right? And so
for sure.
And you guys are well equipped, you got a great staff, and you guys know exactly where you stand.
100%.
So we look forward to the work that you put into your students. The other thing that I noticed too was your students with disability is higher than the district's average too. So, just keep going. Keep going, get after it with the kids, and you guys will see the results. So, thank you for your presentation.
Dr. Cam?
I'll just say you guys are doing a wonderful job at doing a lot of heavy lifting. So you've got a lot of things that you're managing, you're handling all at the same time. Rome wasn't built in a day, but you're laying bricks, and that's all we can ask. So way to go on that. It was really exciting to see everybody at open house and the teachers that really knew what was happening across the way too. I think one of the things that Mr. Lopez talked about was having teachers go and see other classrooms and what they're doing. And it was really cool to walk into a room and they said, if you like this, you got to go across the hall and see what so-and-so is doing. And, oh, right next door, we work together. And it was really awesome to see that facilitation going on. And so I think that the culture sounds like it's great. It's great to hear that you feel like you've been brought under the Eagles' wing as president. And that's all wonderful, though. That's really good. I mean, that speaks to a culture that is healthy and thriving, and that you're a part of. So keep up the great work and good job.
Thank you. I can already see where this is going to go at the end of the year, huh?
Congratulations on your first presentation
you.
to the board, and it's done, and you had
I can
amazing.
sleep tonight.
Yes, now you can rest. You're done, and amazing to have all this Eagle support. I appreciate them being here. You do have an incredible staff. I know a lot of them personally, and I know Stanton has its own unique challenges, but I know you have the right staff for it. So I'm looking forward under your leadership. And just to put in a little, to see them soar, get it, like the
100%.
Eagles. My question to you is the same as I've asked every principal, and maybe go above the support the programs, because we're here, we're there, we want to support you, but what else can we do to help support you? Especially looking into the future with maybe some financial challenges. What is the one thing you want us to make sure that we're paying attention to and that we continue to support?
And that's a question that I've pondered since this whole process has started. And, I echo, what Katie said in regard to just, the continued support, obviously, and then, just to continue to come to our campus and be present. And encourage you to like ask the staff too. That would be, you know, one of those things that, you know, that speak to, you know, my team in the trenches, you know, to what it is that they, you know, are needing. But I think after speaking to them too, I think it would just be more of that kind of support in the intervention part. You know, I know that we are a big school that has a lot of staff as far as, you know, I've got like 70 staff members because I am a bigger school with, you know, the Title I and whatnot. But I think our intervention as far as math could probably use a little bit more support in that respect, because I know that you would love to see that grow. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, unfortunately, you know, I'd love to see some more cool colors on that chart rather than warm, right? And I couldn't agree with you more, and that's the direction I'd love to go. But, you know, I have one math interventionist, and I would love to have a few more to raise those scores. So if that would be my answer.
We would love to give you 10 if you
Yeah,
needed them, right?
100%.
But it is important to know exactly where that support is needed,
Mm-hmm.
especially knowing that you have these unique challenges at Stanton. So thank you for, you know, expressing that, and it noted.
Thank you for asking.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Principal President Cook, thank
That is
you very
me.
much for your, you know, your first year. The board members that were here last year were concerned about Eagle Time, if you remember, and how that was gonna move forward. We were so excited, and you've done a fantastic job of keeping that momentum. I wanna congratulate your staff because they're all the same, and, there's two things that I want to point out. One of them is you have one of the most beautiful quads in the elementary district. When you go out into the middle of that quad with all the brick around you and the trees and the mountains, it's hard to have a bad day at Stanton. So that's a good thing, and I think that every time I go into a classroom, I do experience that, gee, come over here and go over there, especially in the intervention arena and around the STEAM lab. So thank you for that. And I really think it's cool, the community school partnership with Foothill Church. I absolutely love it. I remember the day, and I'll ask Mrs. Norrell when she's up. Back in the day, I think St. Dorothy's used to have a lunchtime event for the high school. I don't know if they do it anymore, but the high school kids were able to go over to St. Dorothy's, and they had like an interaction for lunch, right? It was like a pizza lunch or something. It was once a week, right? And I think those interactions with our local community are priceless, and I would love to have a cup of coffee one day with you watching this event fold out, because I know that they're often. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
100%.
I think there's a lot of other community things happening on every campus, and I appreciate that little extra step. So good job, it's over.
Thank you.
Congratulate your staff, and
Thank you.
there you go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so much.
Now, it's almost not fair, but our final presentation for the night is from Principal Jamie Norrell from Glendora High School. And the first slide is this iconic picture that I've seen. That could be a picture from what year, 1948, 1954? It's the same view with the same letters, and it's what, you know, Glendora's all about. I see the museum in the background, and it's
I
just
can't see the drum major.
yeah, oh, the drum majors, yeah, how they've changed. Maybe we should have one of those, but again, thank you for starting out with that picture. It's a very warm start, so good luck. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. President Clifford, Board of Trustees, Dr. DeGrazia, GUSD Cabinet, and our Tartan crew, we are happy to be here this evening to present all that is great about Glendora High School. We will also discuss with you how we plan to continue to achieve greatness in the future. With me this evening presenting are Assistant Principals, Mr. Eric Bondurant, Ms. Lou Zazano, and Mr. Rod Tilton. Our Dean of Student Services, Mrs. Jen Engel. Our Lead Counselor, Mrs. Michelle Ashley. Athletic Director, Mr. Jerry Llewellyn. And our Activities Director, substitute fill-in, dream over there, Mrs. Jennifer Riley, and some of the most amazing staff and students in all of education. We thank them all for being here tonight to show their love and passion for our school. Over the last year, we've heard from multiple times from motivational speakers the importance of storytelling. We could stand here before you and just tell you about our data and the facts about GHS, but that would not present our whole story. National Geographic states, since the origin of humankind, we have used stories to entertain, inform, inspire, and provide cultural continuity. Storytelling emerged long before the written word, which on its arrival helped stories to grow and spread even further. So tonight you're going to hear the story of GHS through pictures, numbers, and words. We know you'll leave here appreciating the hard work of our students and staff and treasuring the history and tradition of Glendora High School. To begin this evening is Assistant Principal Mr. Eric Bondurant.
Good evening. This past fall, the Los Angeles County of Education highlighted the Get On Board program at GHS. In just 2 years, this program has become a part of our culture and a way to systemize the importance of students and staff starting off the school year connecting to one another and to the campus. Our data shows this program's success with a 1.5% decrease in suspension rates during the 23-24 school year. On the academic side, 65.8% of our 11th grade students met or exceeded standards in English language arts. While we maintain that area, our students are 40.3 points over standard, and we are 13 points higher than the state average. In math, 49.6% of our 11th grade students met or exceeded standards. This is a 2.4% increase over last year. While GHS 11th grade students are 6 points below standard, they are achieving significantly higher than state average of students achieving 47.6 points below standards. Finally, on the informational-only CAST exam, science had 33.9% of our 11th grade students meet or exceed standards. Although they scored 11.4 points below the standard, they were 2.1 points above the state average. This exam is administered to junior students and covers 3 domains of science which, depending on the student's progression, may or may not have covered all the material on which they are being assessed. In each of these 3 disciplines, we will administer the interim assessments department-wide in the 25-26 school year. Teachers will utilize the late start time to analyze this information to determine instructional changes. In English language arts, teachers will also continue their work on developing common rubrics and finding literature that is of higher interest to our students. Over the last year, our math department has met and integrated 1, 2, and 3 levels to align their curriculum to the standards. Following the changes made to the curriculum during the pandemic, they found success by going back to making these curriculum alignments. In addition, we are in the 2nd year of our Math Strategies for Success program. After the first year of the program, 58% of our students passed Integrated 1 in the first semester. Finally, our science department will be working next year to develop a system to review the domain results and utilize the interim assessments to review and reflect material. We also look forward to returning to a testing incentive program that will recognize students for their attendance and achievement on these exams. Next to present is Assistant Principal Ms. Luz Lozano.
As we have worked as a staff to build connections with our students and continually evaluate data, this has allowed us to connect with students and build relationships through informal conversations at breaks. These connections allow us to have more meaningful conversations about their grades, school progress, and upcoming testing. As we review our English learner progress, like many in the state, we have focused on how to support our long-term English learners better. This past year, our English learner classrooms have started using our new Get Ready and Engage curriculum that provides structure to our instruction. Our long-term English learners have also developed a pattern of feeling like the LPAC exam is just not relevant to them. This year, these students have been individually offered after-school support to help prepare them for the exam. We also have adjusted our testing methods to provide a more focused testing environment and begun goal setting and mentoring programs for our EL students. As we look at our subgroups for English language arts and math, we focus on our students with disabilities who achieved in the red and in both areas. To ensure these students have access to standard-based instruction, we will continue to utilize our collaborative teacher model, providing extra support in these classes. We are also beginning professional practices for co-teaching and working in each of our 4 core subject areas. providing release days for teachers to review standards that align with their current curriculum. Our special education department will also administer the interim assessments during the 2025-2026 school year to provide students with access to and comfort with these exams. This focus on collaborative and standards-based instructional practices will ensure that the content is taught and learned in our special education classes is closely aligned with the standards being assessed on the CASP exam. I want to now turn it over to our lead counselor, Mrs. Michelle Ashley.
So one of the most critical jobs that we have as high school educators is to prepare our students for whatever next level they select. Celebrating the class of 2024, having 3 students attending the prestigious Yale University, or seeing 2020 graduate Jessica Chiriboga named a Rhodes Scholar are high-profile examples of our results. The state has created a college and career indicator to measure our success in this area. They utilize a student's success on the CASP exam, A to G completion, AP exams, or CTE pathway completion to generate the results. In the 23-24 school year, GHS had 57.2% of students measure as prepared, 11.9% higher than the state average. This is a 2.1 increase for us from the previous year. In 2024, our AP pass rate increased by almost 7% to an amazing 88%, which earned GHS the honor of being an AP honor roll campus. Our CTE enrollment continues to increase, as does the number of pathway completers. Next year, we'll have our first group of pathway completers in aviation. Our major area of focus continues to be on our students with disabilities. As you saw on the previous slide, this group scored in the red tier. Our counseling staff and case carriers continue to work with this group to encourage students to access our CTE pathways and are looking to grow the course opportunities, especially in areas that may engage this population. At the start of the month, we began visiting our senior classes to discuss the full list of events that celebrate the culmination of 13 years of work in the classroom. 2 slides ago, you saw that the GHS graduation rate of 97.7%, which is 11% higher than the state average. The 2024 graduating class sent 51.5% of our students to a 2-year university and 39.1% to a 4-year. With more of our students accessing career, vocational, apprenticeship programs, military, or seeking employment. Our successful completion of A to G courses increased by 2% to 64%. We continue to work on educating students and staff regarding the A to G requirements with monthly presentations to our staff regarding A to G and new posters in classrooms illustrating the requirements of that discipline to qualify. Our counseling staff looks yearly at students' progress towards graduation, A to G completion, and achieving preparedness on the CCI indicator during our registration meetings. Our credit-based independent studies program has also been a tool to get students who may fall off these tracks back on track. Our data shows that we're preparing our students for the next step, whether a 2- or 4-year education or a career post-high school. Like our extracurricular activities, which offer a wide variety of options, our academic options also prepare for students for various next steps. I'd like to turn it back over to Jamie.
GHS is unique in the plethora of data we receive, both quantitative and qualitative. Taking that data and turning it into systems to support student success is a task we take seriously as a leadership staff. This slide illustrates those reflections and systems we are working to implement. First, data. As we move further away from the pandemic, we can utilize data in a way that can inform practice. Our English language arts, math, and science departments will transition to using interim assessments during the 25-26 school year. Using this data drives daily instruction and measures students' progress towards standard mastery. We will also continue to administer our WASC surveys to students, staff, and families to gather qualitative data to measure our programs and culture on our campus. Second, tartans at the next level. We will continue to focus on our A to G, AP, college-going rates, CTE pathway completion, and CCNI indicators to ensure we are preparing all tartans for success at the next level. Third, we will work alongside our special education department to ensure that students with disabilities are accessing a standards-based instruction that will prepare them for success. Focusing on the co-teaching and collaborative teaching methods will allow these students to access mainstream classes in a supportive environment. We will also work with our special education department to develop pathways to ensure these students have access to becoming prepared on the CCNI indicator. Next, our English language learners continue to be a focus for our campus. Utilizing the EL curriculum and revising our testing format to ensure we provide support, especially for our longtime learners, will be evaluated and refined in the 25-26 school year. Finally, GHS will continue to focus on building connections so students feel emotionally engaged, allowing them to access the content. In our WASP survey, only 3.87% of students disagreed with the statement that our classrooms are engaging and challenging. Instructional rounds will continue to review the 3 elements of engagement: behavior, emotional, and cognitive understanding. These are the keys to raising test scores and ensuring students' academic success. On the next slide, we talk about our glows and our grows. Our first glow is achievement. Our students excel in and out of the classroom daily. As you look at our A to G, AP, and college-going culture rates, you will see that our students are prepared for their next steps. We are focused on making sure our Tartans do not just enjoy their 4 years with us, but that it builds into a successful next step for all. Coupled with that would be a growth area in developing and continually evaluating data to ensure our growth continues. As stated earlier, we will utilize interim assessments to ensure our students are progressing with the standards. Our second glow is our amazing extracurricular program. We offer 26 sports, 60 teams, 10 performing arts programs, and 88 clubs. There is something for everyone at Glendora High School. At our future Tartan Day and Night, each of our staff members mentioned without rehearsal that students can participate in more than one of these activities. We have built a culture that allows students to explore opportunities, and I cannot be more proud of a staff that supports this. Coupled with these opportunities is a growth area for our aging and limited facilities. Our staff works well together to share space, and our custodial staff does an unbelievable job of keeping these facilities thriving. We would love to be a part of the planning for improving these areas. Our third glow is our culture. When students were asked if they agreed or disagreed with the statement that GHS students are tolerant of individual differences, only 3.42% of students responded that they disagreed. Our campus works daily to create a campus of tolerance and acceptance, learning from one another. This does not mean we are perfect, and we will continue to make this a priority through our culture of plaid groups. As we grow, we need to continue to ensure our campus is inclusive of all students. Next year, we will see 2 new offerings, our mariachi program and our Art for Self-Expression and Growth program, aimed at giving our students with disabilities a supportive environment to explore their passion for the arts. We will continue to work with our student clubs to celebrate diversity, and as long as we have only one student sitting alone at lunch, we will continue to look for ways to ensure that all students are connected to our campus. Finally, we have established a culture of celebration on our campus. From our leadership team celebrating student and staff birthdays to our Student of the Month to our School Awards program, we cannot do enough to celebrate the daily great things happening at Glendora High School. Our final challenge and growth will be to continue to work on communication. Despite only over 90% of our families feeling we communicate in a timely manner, we need to continue to evaluate the best methods to reach everyone, and we are committed to keeping with this goal. Next, I would like to introduce our Dean of Student Services, Mrs. Jen Engel.
Over the past 2 years, we have celebrated our Get On Board program, but many don't know about our Tartan Connection program, which grew out of this event. After realizing the positive impact of the Get On Board activity, our staff wanted to systemize this impact with smaller moments of connection. We formalized the Tartan Connection program in the 2024-2025 school year. At the start of the school year, we held the Tartan Connection activity once a week, rotating periods. These activities allowed teachers and students to connect and build emotional engagement in classes. From that point on, we held a Tartan Connection once a month, covering all periods again throughout the year. For instance, one month, our students discussed their favorite movie. Voted as a class, and out of that, all the submissions, ASB selected the top picked movie for our winter holiday movie night. In the fall, we administered our WASC survey and found amazing data supporting this program. Over 8.48% of our students disagreed that they are comfortable approaching a teacher or staff member on campus, and only 5.89% disagreed with the statement that adults treat students with respect on campus. These tartan connections may seem silly distractions to some, but they have had amazing results in building connections between students and staff, leading to a more inclusive and connected campus both in and out of the classroom. To talk about our amazing student athletes, Athletic Director, Mr. Jerry Llewellyn.
I'm very fortunate to present the best slide of our presentation, celebrating our students. This year we saw so many firsts. Our first flag football game played before a full house. Our first ever state champion, Samantha Saxon, in her undefeated season. And our band and pageantry being one of only 2 schools in the state of California to be asked to march in the July 4th Independence Day Parade. We have even added 2 students, Colton Gray and Brianna Gomez, to the 1,000-point club in basketball. GHS also has a robust offering of 88 student-led clubs that offer something for everyone. We often discuss the 4 A's at GHS. 1, academics, where 100% of our avid students have already been accepted to a 4-year college, in addition to the successes you have already heard about tonight. Activities, we had 66% of our students purchase an ASB card, and last Friday, 67% of our student population attended the wonderful night of action. In athletics, 43% of our student body is participating in sports, which is a 5% increase from last year, with 882 student athletes participating in over 1,343 athletic spots at GHS. Finally, in the arts, 536 take part in our performing arts programs, which is 26% of our student body. I question the belief that technology is training youth not to be able to multitask. Our students thrive at this, both in and out of the classroom. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Assistant Principal Rod Tilton.
Part of what makes JHS so special is our staff. Fun fact, over 40 members of our staff are also JHS alumni, class of '85. 93.6% of our students and 96.8% of our parents who took the WASC survey reported having a staff member that they could approach. JHS is a 6-day-a-week, 24-hour campus because we have staff here to support our students every minute of every day. Over the last 6 weeks, our leadership team alone has had 362 contacts with students' extracurricular activity events. Our staff is there for our students, always looking for ways to grow in their craft to support better our students. They are also there for one another with their bi-monthly lawn chair lunches, weather permitting, department snack day, friendly competition, performing in assemblies, or coming together to dress for spirit days. As you can see from the pictures on the slide, they are a very fun and creative group. On the next slide, as we near the end of our presentation, we could not wrap things up without thanking our JHS families and the community. Our amazing PTA contributes to student activities such as Wellness Week and the Teen Summit. They also award our staff with grants to support instruction and feed them at numerous times throughout the year. Their yearly gifts to the school include providing go bags to each classroom in case they have an emergency and fun swag for our Get On Board activities. Our booster clubs raise thousands and thousands of dollars for our student programs. The hours that these families put into fundraising, preparing for events, and supporting our coaches and directors is unparalleled to any school in our valley. We also have community members, many alumni and parents, who have supported us by sponsoring food for staff meetings or for our Culture Plaid staff days. These businesses include Classic Coffee, Crust and Crumble, Dog Haas, Foothill Credit Union, Grand Canyon University, Happy Jeweler, and Southland Properties. We are so grateful for their support. Finally, to those who come out to support our students, whether they are a family member or a fan, our students are lucky to know that they will always perform in front of a packed house. It is truly great to be a Tartan. Now back to Jamie to wrap things up.
One of the best parts of our job is seeing our students thrive after their time at GHS. Here, bless you, are two of our former Tartans. On the left is Christian Contreras, a 2018 grad, who turned his passion for orchestra and the viola at GHS into a career. Christian did his undergraduate work at Cal State University, Long Beach, and his master's at the Peabody Institute at Johns Hopkins University. He currently lives in Glendora, substituting with local philharmonics and symphonies, and is a private teacher while he auditions. To the right is class of 2024 graduate Decker DeGraff. This past fall, Decker played tight end at the University of Washington. He was named Freshman All-American after an amazing season. Watching his game one Saturday, the announcer stated, "He's going to be one to watch," and we look forward to doing so. GHS is committed to continuing to tell our story at our campus. We are focused on working toward our WASC and school site goals, which are, number 1, continue to foster a healthy learning environment where every student feels valued and connected in order to ensure a powerful future for every child who attends Glendora High School. Number 2, increase college and career readiness for the students of Glendora High School to ensure every student has an opportunity to attend college or be gainfully employed once graduated. And 3, to align curriculum, assessment, and data analysis in core content areas to ensure that students are progressing toward mastery. Our story of greatness is just beginning, and we can't wait to hear the stories we will continue to tell. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that outstanding presentation. Questions from the board? I'll start on my left this time with Trustee Garcia.
Thank you, and a wonderful presentation. It's no secret that I love GHS. I spent a lot of time hearing about GHS with my 2 kids being there, but I do want to hear more about culture of Plaid. What is it? What is the goal? And how often do you meet? All the goods.
So this was an idea that I stole from a presentation at CATA. It was one of the last ones I went to, my first year going to CATA. And it started with an adult group on our campus. And basically it is all of our head coaches who are on campus and all of our directors who are on campus and our leadership team. It's grown over the last couple of years. We've included some teachers and some classified staff as well. And basically, those are the people that at the core are developing our culture on campus. So we've met 5 times throughout the year. We read a book together, and we really go over some of the key things that are facing our campus. We're currently working to come up, we developed what we believe to be the core values of our campus and are looking for a motto that we can incorporate throughout our campus. Some great things have come out of it where we were rained out, but Mr. Quintanilla and Coach Hamla were partnered, and it was going into CIF, and they were going to put together a lunch pep rally together. So really just bridging that gap between these programs so it's not segmented, but bringing everyone on our campus together and helping each other with that culture. That then grew into a student group that incorporated presidents from different clubs on campus, and they were invited then to bring in people from their committee. That one brings a little bit more of a challenge each year because you have to build that trust in order to have that conversation. Last year, one of the neatest things that happened was our Black Student Alliance group wanted to be the first to present, and they said, we want to do it with someone else, so we're going to pick a group on campus that we feel people think we're at odds with. So they worked with our Latino group, and they put together a great lunchtime conversation that happened in our little theater. So that is something that we're continually working to grow and get feedback.
How often does the the student-led groups meet, and is there a schedule for that, or is it kind of?
So we haven't gotten it back together this year. We've had some challenges, obviously, with staffing throughout campus and some big hurdles to face. When we did it last year, we let the kids kind of dictate that process. We didn't want to go to the presentation point until we knew they were comfortable with one another. And they grew the group to a point that they were comfortable. So it took us about 4 meetings for them to get to the presentation part, and then we had 2 different presentations to our campus.
So I know you have these staffing issues, but what is the plan for culture of Plaid? Because I hear it referenced a lot as to how to address some of these issues that are at the high school. And so my question is, if this is what we're leaning on, what is the process and what does that look like?
It's just getting those class presidents back together in a classroom setting. Yeah, to start those conversations.
And then my final question, same as I asked everyone else, what can we do to support you with your growth?
So again, we're fortunate at the high school to really have that support. We have a lot of activities, and I know our students and our staff always appreciate seeing you. You're also wonderful supporting. You've done a wonderful job getting our mental health and our counseling program to a point where we can really sustain that on our campus. I think now the focus as we start to look at some challenging budgets and supporting some of those programs that when you look at a class size, classes like our MSS or our AP Capstone that are smaller class sizes, really realizing the impact those have on our campus in such a positive way and helping us sustain those, looking for creative ways.
If I'm hearing you correctly, is the class size may be small, but the impact is huge.
It's
And
very
therefore,
mighty.
don't look so much at the number of students in that class, but more of the impact it's having and what those kids are doing with what they're learning in the class.
Exactly, because the class size in those that I just gave as an example are intentionally at a size that is aimed at that program.
I've had the pleasure of sitting in on some of those AP research, and at the beginning when they decide what they're gonna do, and at the end when they present, and it is absolutely incredible, and they give me a lot of hope. So
Yes.
thank you for being here, and for your staff who stayed here this late to support you.
Dr. Cam.
I just have to say, I'm so thankful you're there, Ms. Norrell. I really appreciate all the hard work you do. I feel like I could talk all night about the things that I see and know and hear about, and the staff that are so thankful that you're there. I'm so thankful you're there. I'm thankful for your staff, and I'm thankful for everything you guys have going. So just keep up the great work. I don't know how else to put it, but I just really appreciate it.
We have
So
a
thank you.
phenomenal team, so thank you.
Yep.
Trustee Lopez.
Good job with it. No, and culture's going great, everything's going well. So question on the interim assessments, though. Starting in the freshman year,
Yes.
all 4 core?
Yep.
All 4 core every quarter?
Yep.
Every
Well,
quarter?
probably not the last quarter, because we'll take, actually, no, I take it back. We're gonna plan it out at our department chair. We do our our planning for the next year, so they will plan out. Right now, we are required, I believe contractually, to do 3 benchmarks.
3 benchmarks.
So probably stick with that.
Just to have an idea where you're gonna end up that junior year when they take that smarter balance.
Exactly,
Because right now, there's no metric at this time, right?
correct.
Okay. No, that's all I have. Just keep going.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. Glendora High School is a great place.
Thank you.
Go Tartans.
Yes.
Dr. Munoz.
All right. All right, well, first off, I want to say thank you for that presentation. It was very informative, and to your staff. Yeah, Glendora High School is very special. You're doing a great job, great system in place. Just keep the hard work, you and your staff, keep working hard. There's always room for improvement, so I just hope you continue improving that, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Principal Norrell, thank you. I want to spend some time with Dr. Najarro. Could we please on Wednesday maybe schedule 15 minutes? Because I'm struggling. I'm not happy with the mathematic colors or scores. I don't think anybody is, but I want to do something intentional and specific to help the high school this year. And Dr. Najarro, if you could look at slide number 2 for me. Do you have the slide deck in front of you? Or bring it up, or just very quickly, if you wouldn't mind helping me understand or preparing me for when I meet with you. When I see, if I'm looking at the enrollment by subgroup, and I look at The subgroup, I look at the subgroup that's 48.2%, and I look at the subgroup that is 30.6%. That adds up to 78.8%. Is that correct? So that would represent 78% of the students tested? Is that a fair assessment?
No, that's the enrollment.
Yes.
Yes.
Remember, at the high school, we're only testing 11th graders. What you see there is the total population of Glendora High School. So that chart shows all the population of the percentages in those groups at all of the high school. When we test only the 11th graders.
Okay.
So that is different.
So when I move over to the mathematics scores of those same subgroups, and I add both of those subgroups didn't meet the 50th percentile, which means they were below that, correct? Like one of the subgroups is at 39%, and the other subgroup is at 47%. When I look at if I add up.
Those are, yes.
So that's saying that if those are the two, could the argument be that those are the two largest subgroups at the high school?
Which subgroup are you looking at? You're looking at the
I'm looking
white
at,
subgroup?
yes, I'm looking at the white subgroup
Correct.
and the
So-
Hispanic or Latino
So
subgroup.
if you look at the white subgroup, I think I'm loud enough even without the microphone.
Yeah, well, I can hear you.
If you look at the Hispanic subgroup and you add 33 plus 26, right?
No, you're looking at English, I'm looking at
Oh, I'm
math.
sorry, 24.
It looks to me like it's 39%,
That is correct.
which is below 50,
That
right?
is correct.
And then if I take the other category that I mentioned to you, is 26.3 and 20, which is, I'll round it up to 47%.
That is correct.
So if I take both of those subgroups, which is the majority of that, right, didn't make 50%.
That is correct.
But that doesn't correlate to the other slide that shows it was green. That's this, I guess I'm being told this slide is saying it was improved from last year?
Yes.
So,
There's an increase, because one slide, as we discussed, and again, I can go over it with you, although I am at a conference this Wednesday.
we have
Remember,
not, yeah.
I know. There's level 3 and 4, which means at standard and above standard, percentage. That is what this one is showing. This slide is showing an average of all the students tested and their difference from standard, which is a little bit of a different calculation, and it's a little bit more difficult to understand. And I can show you the algorithm of how they do that. And then this is the increase or decrease from that, and that's how the colors are created.
Yeah, and so.
So it's two different measures, and that's why we show it to you on two different slides.
Got it.
So it's two different measurements to show similar scores.
Understand.
So we're showing it to you in two different ways.
So kind of in line with what Trustee Garcia asked you earlier, what can I do as one person on this board to help you raise that? Because to me that's a significant data point in this particular case, and I want to help raise that point, like not next year, the year after, like right now, like, because when are you doing testing next?
Testing begins in April, and I will tell you this, Mr. Clifford, there's not one simple answer for that, and there's not one simple solution, and it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Changes for that takes time, and the best thing you can do is a little bit of patience and understanding, because it's not simple. One of the biggest impacts that will do that is understanding how this has happened over time. And I know that you've asked to understand this, and one of the things that I've been doing is creating an understanding of why math has been an area of focus since before 2019. What you're seeing right now isn't a problem that happened overnight. This problem began in about 2017, and so you're seeing a problem that has compounded for years, and we're just now really starting to figure out how we can combat it by looking deep into the mathematical frameworks and our instructional practices, and really working with our teachers into changing how we approach some of
our instruction, as well as some of our professional learning where we're gonna focus on science of reading, and you're gonna say to me, now, Dr. Naharo, I wanna focus on math and science. And I'm going to tell you that when we focus on the science of reading, which will impact, and I'm gonna talk about this very soon, which will impact fluency, prosody, comprehension, inferencing, as well as application, you will see the difference in mathematics and science. Because when students are able to really dig deep and think critically, which is their reading, you will see the impact in math and science. But I beg of you to understand that the problem we're seeing in math started in 2017. So if you ask me how we can solve it today, right now, and how we can solve it come 3 weeks in April, we're not gonna solve it overnight. But when we dig deep and understand where the problem began, we can then really begin to understand what we can do to address it.
So we can make that appointment.
Yes,
We
and I
can
have
do
that all
And
ready
first-
for you.
First off, I appreciate that, because I just want you to know that in my topical way, when I look at it, I'm very concerned about it, but it sounds like it's on your radar. And the other day I saw your title, it was very impressive. What is your all of this part of your title?
My title is Executive Director of Teaching, Learning, and Accountability.
Teaching, learning, and accountability. So I want to take some accountability to help you with this, because this is your alley, right? They're reporting it, which, they report accurately, but it's your responsibility to make sure that we find the root cause or whatever the antecedent was for that behavior, so we can change that behavior and have a better outcome. And I want to help do that. So it's disheartening that I can't do something overnight.
I know.
But it is still encouraging that.
I've thought about it a lot, and I promise we will be addressing it strategically, one step at a time, and with very many people and brains on this, with our expert teachers.
Okay, so I don't have to
experts
ask the
for-
question again. We could just make the appointment on a Wednesday when you're available. And because the presentation is phenomenal. And could you explain the 4 core to me real quick? Is that are you talking about when Trustee Lopez was talking about the measurement in the 4 core? Will you explain that to me real quick?
English, math, history, and science.
English, math, history, and science. And that's the backbone of our learning and academic structure, right?
Correct. And when we look at data, we always bring in like our world language, we'll look at English data to, if we have comprehension process or problems or speaking problems, that's something they'll reinforce also. So it really does cross over to a lot of our other departments, but those are the 4 core that we start with.
And so that's my input is want to help understand that 4 core process at the high school level, help the TKers all the way up through change their behaviors so that when they come and get tested in the 11th grade, and you're talking about that 4 core testing that's gonna happen, right? Is that what you said?
No, we were just talking,
Assessment.
Jamie and I are connected in a way that we know what we're talking about. So,
Yeah.
and everybody else knows out there. So,
We'll talk about
it's all about the 4 core because we're talking about interim assessments. We're talking about.
You can tell me
I'm gonna
that
go
we have
on. No.
offline. I just wanna know
So,
how-
no, I do have a comment, so.
Okay.
How about we meet on a Wednesday?
And the problem.
I've been trying.
The problem happened before 2017. I mean, this has been an ongoing problem for a long time. Here's what I will tell you, and this is how I really feel. Education is not built K-12. Education is built 12K. The reason it's built that way is because you build education, everything's built on outcomes. We look at outcomes, we look at our outcomes, we look at our learners, and then we create content, we create curriculum, we create how to teach kids. We have to get down to the base level of literacy for our students when they're in TKK, when they're in kindergarten. Literacy is number one, super important. So what we do, and sometimes I think we get into a silo of grade levels, right? We're not looking at maybe what the kindergartners are learning when they go to 1st grade, but they have to be looking up. And we have to have standards, and those standards are skills. They have to develop those skills, because if we don't have a base, and I feel like we've been talking about this for years, if students don't have a base if we're not laying the bricks, they're gonna continue to fall. And so we have to look at education a little differently than a lot of people do. It's built 12K because we have to look at the final outcome. Where do we want our students to be when they graduate from Glendora High School? And then everything starts being built from the bottom. And we continue to build base and base and base and base. But while we're building the base, then developmentally, we have to be cognizant of our kids and what they can do developmentally as far as higher order thinking skills. How can they think critically? How deep can they go into learning? But our kids need to know how to read. They need how to do simple math. And they need to know how to write. And so as they become better readers, they become better writers. But not only that, when you look at math scores conceptually, students don't do well on word problems because they just don't feel like they can do well on a word problem. And so the part of that is they need to learn how to read a word problem, how to annotate it. They have to know what the academic vocabulary is, right? So there's pieces that come in from all over the place that help build that base for those students. And so there's just a lot of work to do. And we're not gonna, between now and testing in April, we're not gonna make a huge dent, but kids will try like heck to do their best on the test. And I think what we have to battle is kids often think, when they start growing up, they start thinking they're not good at school. They're not good at math. They're not good at reading. We have to make sure that we're building those supports in the bottom so that they are good at math and they are good at reading, and building in those competencies and those masteries for where are we in that road, in that student's road to moving up the ladder, if that makes sense.
No, it helps me understand it because
Sorry, I
some
had
of
to
the
get on my soapbox.
No, but I heard some of the key words, and to me, that's where like local accountability comes in. And you said the words, like, we want Glendora High School to excel. And who knows how best to do that are the people that are in this high school, in this arena, and that's where I want to make a difference. I'm less concerned about what an entity outside of this arena is telling me or the federal government is telling me. I'm really concerned about what I can do at this moment in time with this board to help move the needle. And whether that's the TK program or the K program, whatever that is, it's focusing on that core. And just like you said, if you can't read well or you can't understand a science concept, you're going to struggle with math, because a lot of math is reading and understanding, and I get that. So that's where I want to make a difference. I want to be able to help locally the Glendora Unified School District get the resources they need to excel, so that when I'm looking at these, they add up to a number on the right side of 50. That's all.
In the end, it's gonna be time. It's gonna be time to look at the data. It's gonna be time to pull people together.
Okay, I appreciate
So
that.
that's what it's gonna be.
And Dr. Najarro and Mrs. Norrell, I really appreciate the extra time you spent with me to understand that. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much.
Very, very good, thank you. And thank you to your staff and everyone who stayed for that grueling time. You guys should get extra credit tonight. You should get that signed off tonight. All right, that takes us to item 6.1, which is a discussion action item, which is to adopt the 2024-2025 Transportation Services Plan as presented. And I'm going to the superintendent for that.
Yes, and I'll send it right over to Ms. Walzak from Business Services.
All right, thank you. So tonight we have the 2024-25 Transportation Services Plan for adoption in compliance with Education Code 39800.1. Glendora Unified School District, we don't operate a general education transportation program. Instead, transportation services are provided specifically for eligible special education students, which is coordinated through our East San Gabriel Valley SELPA. These services are tailored to meet the unique needs outlined in students' IEPs and to make sure that it's safe and accessible transportation. The plan reflects collaboration with SELPA and includes stakeholder input at the SELPA level and outlines how the transportation services support our students, particularly the targeted subgroups, including unduplicated pupils. It also provides financial details highlighting a projected 60% state reimbursement of $255,137, leaving a general fund contribution of approximately $370,000. The transportation services plan will be reviewed annually and updated annually as well to remain aligned with the district goals and fiscal responsibility. We recommend or ask the board to please adopt the 2024-25 transportation services plan as presented. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the numbers that I'm looking at are staggering for that, so I appreciate your input. So I'll bring it back after that presentation to the board for a motion. A motion? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Now back for discussion. I have a question. So based on what I'm looking at here, it was $925,000 was the expense from 23-24, correct? And we were reimbursed $554,000 from that from some entity outside of here, correct?
Correct.
Is that a federal or state entity?
That is state.
State entity, okay? And then, so then you have some mathematics, and basically what you're saying is the general fund has to contribute an extra $370,000 to be able to do this transportation for students that are on a special program to get to and from school. Is that correct?
Well, we call it general fund contribution, but technically, so the $925,000 is it's through the SELPA. So we have the AB 602, and it's all part of that. So already we received approximately $299,000 from our LCFF allocation to reimburse for part of the transportation add-on. So yes, the $370,000, it's part of our general fund contribution to special education. It's basically part of that $12 million, so that's a small portion of
that
that
helps.
$12 million. It's not in addition, it's part
not
of
an
that.
addition.
Correct.
It's like a concurrent part.
Yes.
It's part of the whole.
It's part of that whole
I'm good.
calculation.
I understand that clearly now. All right, any other questions?
I have a quick question. How many students actually are served by this program?
Geez, I don't have that number. Do you?
I don't have
Okay.
it memorized, but we can find out.
Yes.
I stumped you.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay,
Prince.
I'm just curious because it is a huge amount, right?
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to have a feeling, are we talking about 500 students or 100 students? So if you could.
Yes,
I'm
we can
just
get
curious.
that data for you. And this is students, not all students with IEPs. It's students with IEPs who it's been determined through the IEP process that their disability makes it difficult to get to and from school. So we provide transportation to kind of bridge that gap. But I'll get you the number.
Thank you.
And is that to just this school or any
No.
school? This is to any
Yeah.
school. If they're on a special program at another
Right,
place.
correct.
Yeah,
This is
they
like-
might be in a non-public school, and then we provide transportation to get them to and from that non-public
Yeah,
school as well.
and my recollection, and I could be wrong, was that the number was less than 125, but maybe I'm wrong. It'll be good to know what that number is. All right,
Sorry, one more question.
Sure.
Does that number also, when you say transportation, include when a parent is visiting a student that's in a non-public school setting? Is that included in that? Or
No,
is that
that's a
different?
different-
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
One more question, sorry.
Sure. Oh, no problem.
The transportation services are selected from the SELPA, or is we select it each?
It's part of the SELPA, so we use Durham Transportation, correct? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, with our input. So we have we have a directors meeting, which is the director of special ed. Then we also have the administrators, which would be us, and then Dr. DeGrazia. He's part of the superintendent's council, which also we all talk about this transportation and anything related to special ed and SELPA.
Thank you.
okay, any further questions or discussion? All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you so much. That passes. The next item is the consent calendar. Now, tonight, the consent calendar goes from items 8.1 through 11.4, and there's about $5 million worth of expenses, the majority of that being warrants for payroll and the like. So I just wanted the audience to know that. So going down, is there a motion for approval for the consent calendar? There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the consent calendar? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, it passes unanimously. That takes us down to item 12.1, which is adjournment. It is 8:55. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.